Southwestern is built on the principles that established us in 1855, brought us through the Civil War, the Great Depression, both world wars, and laid the foundation that drives our growth and global impact. We are people helping people, and today we are the most innovative direct sales company. Our growth spans new employees, new industries, new opportunities. As we evolve, as we dream, as we dare, we do it to serve you, because your dreams are our dreams, and our principles make dreams possible. We don't just build companies, we build people. And our people are building the largest privately held company in the world. Southwestern family of companies, building people, transforming lives, global impact.
Hello and welcome to the first ever Total Domination webinar, pre-sales school, mini sales school production meeting. So, hello everybody. My name is Ben Majeski. I will be your pre-host before the host. And so I'm glad everyone can be here. I basically am going to explain what this is, basically how to get the most out of it. So the point for all of you guys being here today is to get all of us on the same page and basically get us ready to have a great summer. And also for all of us to meet all the people around us that are going to be our leaders for the summertime. So hello, there we go, mini sales school. Whoever's controlling the slides, there you go. Point of today is all battles are won before they are ever fought. So it's a Sun Tzu quote from Art of War. And today is basically to mobilize the troops to make sure, again, we're all on the same page, get a bunch of really awesome information from the top leaders in our program, and to basically make the most out of these next 2 weeks and this next 12, like basically 3 months of our lives to make this a freaking awesome summer. So if we want to break down the easiest way to get the most out of this next, 3 hours or so that we're going to have together, the first is if you guys don't have some paper to take notes, that would be the best thing you could possibly go grab right now. It's just something you can take notes on. And also what's cool about today is normally these meetings are in person. So we have small little pods across the country that normally do this stuff. So we're actually all here together. So normally this is an in-person seminar. So basically just want to give you guys or implore you guys to treat this like you're in person and get the most out of this. Just like sales school, just like any gym you're working out in, it's to use this effectively, just basically use these next 3 hours and soak them up. Because everyone that you're about to hear speak sells a bunch of books, runs a great business, and is a very good leader. So they're all going to be, this is all designed to help and make your life easier. So let's get into it. So first, I have the pleasure of introducing our MC for the afternoon. Her name is Elizabeth Mendoza. So she is coming up on her second summer. So she is a track athlete at New Mexico State University. So she actually placed at the conference meet in the 400-meter hurdles. So that's super impressive. So athletes. So she is a biology major. She's pre-med student. She was a top first year. She hit the Sizzler trip and she won the coveted Gold Seal Gold Award, where she worked 80 hours a week, every week her first summer. So everyone give it up in your homes for Elizabeth Mendoza. Yeah!
Thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate that. And now I'm actually going to go ahead and let our district sales managers introduce themselves to you all.
Hello, everyone. Happy to see all of you. I think we've got 180 people on this call, so that is awesome. Matt is here. And we're squeezing into this corner so we can see you guys together. But just wanted to introduce myself. This is my 10th year with Southwestern. I was in your shoes back in 2011 and getting ready to take off for my first summer. Went to college in Arizona. So our trek from Arizona to Nashville was quite the trip that I am looking forward to you guys all eventually. So my first year, I did well. I worked hard. I was super coachable. I was number 15 in the company, made a little over 18 grand. So I'm really looking forward to helping you guys have what will be a little bit of a different experience than I had my first summer, but still have a kick butt experience.
Hello, and I'm Matt Ross. This is my 20th year with Southwestern, and I am from Phoenix, Arizona, or I live in Phoenix. I'm from, went to the University of North Carolina when I first heard about Southwestern. But I'm in Nashville now and excited to actually meet all of you in person here in about a month. And it's going to be exciting. So enjoy this wonderful webinar we've put together.
Yeah, so since the webinar isn't as interactive as a regular Zoom call, what we did and what you should have received from your campus leaders or some of your leaders is we scheduled in some time for you guys to break into your pods and do introductions with each other in small groups. So we're gonna hop off of this, we're gonna take a short 20-ish minutes, and then we're gonna hop back onto this. If you haven't received the other Zoom link from your leader, text them now so that you can get it, and we will hop back on here at the half hour. See y'all then. I absolutely.
All right. Can everyone hear me? Yes? Sweet. Well, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you guys were able to interact with your organization and just learn something new about everyone and your student leaders. So I'm actually going to kick it off and start by introducing Heather Fisk. So Heather Fisk, who is a field sales leader leading one of the fastest growing groups in Southwestern. She is going on her 7th summer with Southwestern, and she was a top first year and top experienced dealer every year. Her best summer had over 35K in only 12 weeks, which is awesome. I'm also going to be introducing Josh Ignis. He's a sharp guy on his sports summer with Southwestern Advantage. He was top experience in 2019, making 20K, and last summer with awesome residuals still coming in each month. How cool is that? He's also a CR at Purdue and is excited to prove that he is the best Ignis in Southwestern this year. Go ahead, Heather.
Hello, everybody. Can't find the button to show my video. Oh, there it is. Hello. All right. So we are going to go ahead and kick this off with the schedule that we're going to be following for the next handful of weeks, kicking off our internship, right, for this summer. So go ahead and jot these notes down. Liz, if you wouldn't mind, or Beth, sorry, going into the next slide for me. Thank you. So we are going to be moving into our HQs by region on May 17th. So go ahead and jot that date down. The important thing to know about that, if we could go back one slide, por favor. Thank you. Is that once we leave for the summer, right, we need to have everything that we need for the entire summer, because we won't be returning back home to pick up anything, drop off anything. So make sure all of your loose ends are tied up by the time that you leave on May 17th. All right, so getting your car stuff worked on, having all of your stuff packed. You want to make sure that you pack lightly for the summer, and we'll be sending out a packing list for y'all. So it's important to know that moving into our Airbnbs, that we are going to be screening folks with their temperature. So it's important for you guys to be honest if you have felt under the weather or showing any symptoms. Make sure that you guys pack a bottle of hand sanitizer for yourself. So we're going to be in little pods by HQ. It's a handful of folks per household. So we're going to be starting our virtual sales school event on May 17th, and that's going to carry on throughout this week here, where it says virtual sales school. There you'll be taught how to get referrals, how to get more technically prepared for the summer. You're going to be, prepared just for everything for the next couple weeks. Then May 24th, we're going to start virtually selling and actually getting some of those reps in, getting those practices in. So we'll be virtually selling for that week. Then we'll be having a second sales school starting the week of June 1st. So this week here. So our two options for that, we're going to first and foremost be following the CDC and federal guidelines. So we're either going to be going to Nashville for that second sales school, or we're going to be doing it by pods regionally, just depending on what's going to be the safest, best method for everybody. So that'll be this week right here, first week of June. And there you'll be just the second wave of sales schools, so more technical training, more stuff pertaining and making sure that you're well prepared and confident going into that second phase there. So then starting the week of June 8th, we're going to start selling, right? Start knocking on doors and continuing the rest of our summer. So I think turning it over to Joe. Go ahead for that second part.
I'm actually Josh. Just kidding. So anyway, I'm Joe. I'm Josh's brother. Definitely the better Ignis. So got a lot of work to do, Josh. A lot of work. So I'm just gonna talk real quick about our schedule real quick. I don't think I have control of the PowerPoint. I did some virtual selling with Heather and some other managers beginning of this week. And like anything in life, the first day and a half was a little bit awkward and new. And I just felt like it was my first summer again, and it was great. You can basically, if you never feel awkward or nervous, you're probably in a nice, really comfy, fuzzy comfort zone, never growing, right? So being awkward tells me that I'm becoming a better person and growing, and that's a really good thing. So I got excited about it. Learned some new skills, got better at referrals. But here's our schedule that we worked, because it's going to be a little bit different. Since we are going to be more sedentary when we're working, because when we're out selling, we're moving a lot. We're going to have some scheduled breaks and a workout time. So a little schedule right there for days 1 and 2. The reason it's day 1 and 2 we're doing this schedule is the focus is the beginning of your week when you're virtually selling. Just get as many referrals as you can so you can call through your referrals and set up appointments for later in the week. So the idea here is your first couple of days, you're just going to get a bunch of referrals. You might have a couple presentations to get your feet wet. You might have a customer or two. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, most of those days is you wake up, you've got 8 to 10 appointments set up. So you wake up, you set up, you do appointment after appointment after appointment. That's kind of the schedule that we're trying to get here. So 6:29, pop out of bed, you take that cold shower. Some of you guys are already doing that now. So that's awesome. You work out, if you want to. Nobody's forced to work out, but it's probably a blue knob decision and probably really good for you. I hear that's what working out is for. Then we're going to work out for like 45 minutes or an hour, eat breakfast, and then we're going to have a small group time where we just get to hang out together on Zoom. So we'll be in, likely different Airbnbs, but the same general area. And we'll have a 15-minute get organized period before we start prospecting at 9 o'clock. We'll go over more of that kind of stuff, at the virtual sales school and all that sort of thing. But at 10:45, we take a little break, go get some water, a little potty break, I'll go high five your roommates, figure out what's working, how to get better at this one thing. Then we're going to do prospecting until lunch for a couple hours. So those are broken up into what's, basically goal periods. So you can go crush it for like 2 hours and you get your break. Okay. So we eat lunch for an hour and we might have a little bit of training there depending on how the group's doing. If everybody's crushing referrals first day, or if people are struggling, need some help with that, we're going to have some training there. But hour for lunch, get outside, go for a walk, do something fun with everybody at your Airbnb. And then we're going to have prospecting at 2, another goal period end at 3:45, right? So you get as many referrals as you can for those 2 hours, take a break. Approaching, you've got the hour for dinner, get outside, do something. get moving off your butt. And then you're going to have approaching from 6:30 to 9. And those are going to be your fun portions where it's basically just late night appointments where people are kind of waiting for you because you probably already set those up at 4 o'clock. During both approaching periods, that's when you're going to be trying to sell people and set up little times and Zoom meetings with those people because you'll call them on the phone and then you'll set up the Zoom call. And over the Zoom call, you'll be using some integrated technology we're going to be doing to do presentations. And when you're prospecting, you're calling to get referrals from this thing called a Hot 100 list that we're going to go over soon. So that's kind of the schedule. Is there another slide? Schedule is your lifeline. So mentality is to get on the best schedule that you can, develop some technical, go to the next slide. Get on a really good technical training here. So basically your whole purpose is to learn how to get referrals and pre-approach, which is something I didn't learn as much before my first summer. There's nobody going to be coming in, not being really good at their sales talk. There's one of my customers. I had 8 customers earlier this week. It was awesome. That was actually a friend of mine from church back when I was in high school, and they lived near my parents. So they've got little kids. They bought some stuff, but you want to get really good at that sales talk, get used to the communication skills, get all the mess ups out of the way and get some product knowledge. And that's so cool because you're going to have managers like me and Heather and Ray and Kyle and every manager that in your group is going to be able to watch you and help you. And you're going to be able to watch them in close proximity. So you can get really good at technical skill early on. Number 2, get comfortable being uncomfortable, making those blue knob decisions, working out, taking the cold shower, and just getting used to approaching people. And number 3, you're going to develop really good habits, that self-talk in the schedule, just getting used to, again, not waking up at 3 p.m. in the afternoon or going to bed at 6 a.m. and waking up at that time. So it's going to get you guys on a good schedule. So when we roll into the real thing, you feel really prepared. Awesome. That's pretty much it for me. So virtual selling overall, it's what you make of it. Just like anything in life in Southwestern, if you have a great attitude and you push yourself, you're like, cool, I'm going to do well. You're right. And if you have a crappy attitude about anything, right, you're like, oh, it's never going to work. What's probably going to happen? So you get to just decide what kind of person you are. You're going to find a way, make it work, choose a great attitude, or find some excuse why it can't. So, but this is really fun. It was really good. And I think if you have a great attitude, actually, I had some fun doing it. So awesome. Thank you, Mendoza.
Sweet. Thank you, Joe and Heather. I apologize for the introduction of Josh. But yeah, thank you so much. We all love to develop some habits. I think that's very nice that we now know what our schedule is going to look like because obviously our schedule is our lifeline. So thank you, Joe and Heather. So now I'm going to go ahead and introduce Liz Poe and Kyle Shield. So Liz Poe, also known as TD as Lizard, she is going on her 4th summer with Southwestern Advantage. She is also a corporate recruiter for the University of Arizona. She is a top experience dealer with top 10% of all experienced leaders in Southwestern worldwide, making over $20K in profit. And Kyle Shield is going on his 3rd summer with Southwestern Advantage. He's a senior at Michigan State University, and he was also a top first year in 2018, finishing top 10 out of 1,000 first years, making over $13K. So take it over, Kyle and Liz Poe.
Cool. Thank you for the awesome introduction. So let's see if I can grab your screen here. So what we're going to cover, the loads, or you might want to do it, are the 4 pillars of success around here. So that's going to be working hard, studying hard, being coachable, and finishing what you start. Cool. So working hard. So pretty much what that means is like there's a physical side of things, there's the mentality, and then the emotional side of things. So breaking it down, what does that actually mean physically? So working means talking to a prospect or on the way to see a prospect. And a prospect is someone who is willing and able to buy from you within 20 minutes or less. The catch there is you got to do it quick, 20 minutes or less. And then the metrics, right? So 70 or more hours a week is what we're working. And then the demos are 30 or more families demoed a day. So a demo isn't just talking to somebody, but a demo is when you actually physically pull the book out of your bag and show them. That's what a demo is. It's all about the schedule, putting in the hours and the demos and seeing the people. The mentality is, besides working hard, you also want to work smart, right? So that means know names of the families that you've talked to, able to connect better and quicker if you know their friends. And also community and school knowledge will be really helpful. So for example, knowing the school mascot would be cool, or what the town might be known for. And then the emotional side of things, so that's using self-talk. If you're an awesome person, just tell yourself that out loud, right? That'd be cool. Work by goal period. So we break our days down into different increments. So then it helps us stay more present with the people that we talk to and focus on what we're actually doing and not worry about the past or the future. And then controllables, it all comes back to the system and staying on schedule. So that means putting in the hours, seeing the amount of people, and having a good attitude, leaving people in a better mood before you left them or before you met them. So I can tell you right now that the person who does the best their first summer is going to be the first year who sticks closest to this schedule. Go ahead to the next, please.
Yeah, can we change the next slide?
Yeah, I don't have control.
Yeah, so not only do we work hard, but we also study hard too. And essentially what studying hard means is just being a student of the game. And the reason why we do this is because during the summer, we don't have a JOB, we have a YOB. And YOB stands for your own business, because you guys are your own boss this summer. And just like running your own business, you want to have a lot of confidence. And the reason why we study hard is because the more knowledge that you have, the more you learn about your business, the more confidence you're going to have. And so studying hard also relates to getting prepared before the summer. So you can go to the next slide. So these next couple weeks are pretty important to help you guys hit the ground running. So now up until sales school, what it looks like to study hard is basically just being involved, you know, attending the rest of your campus meetings, actually taking notes and, you know, paying attention. A really big one is learning your sales talk and actually practicing approaching real people face to face, looking through your sample books that you guys all have. Another thing is like you all have access to your Advantage U. But the biggest thing I think people don't talk about enough is finishing strong in school. Going into the summer, while after acing all your finals feels really good, because how you are in one area of your life, you are in every area of your life. But not only do we want to prepare before sales school, but we also continue to study hard during the summer. So what that looks like during the summer, you know, is continuing to take those notes every Sunday meeting. Every single time you talk to your student leader, they're going to give you more tips to actually go and apply. Like Kyle said, learning about your school district, because we like to treat this job like we're professionals, learning teachers' names, learning about the grades, projects, things like that. And then something that we do throughout the summer, because we're always trying to sharpen our sword, is that during the mornings we read something emotional, and then at night we read something technical, because we're constantly just trying to get better at this job. So that's what it looks like to study hard.
Yes. Awesome, Liz. So coachability. So why be coachable? Well, this has been around since 1855. So it's been around for a long time. There's a system and it works. There's a sales talk, a selling manual, articles, and a lot more. And it's all done and written by the best of the best of the best, like all the top and current top producers in the company. And then recognition, who doesn't like recognition, right? So there's tons of different things that our company has won. Every single student leader has been in your shoes before, and we would never ask you to do anything that we would not be willing to do ourselves. We're all on the same journey together, and we're all part of the same team. So what does being coachable mean? So that means taking advice even when it doesn't seem like it makes sense at the time, kind of going out of the box, right? So like Mr. Miyagi told Daniel's son, wax on, wax off. So you could be the next Karate Kid. It's a blue knob decision, right? And just trust the process. So being coachable is not a technical skill or an inherent ability, but a mental attitude.
And then the last pillar that we stand for in Southwestern, we just believe in finishing what we start. And what that means is we wholeheartedly commit to coming through on what we said we're going to do. And the reason why we do this is because every time you do what you said you're going to do, your self-worth goes up. So for example, if you said you were going to go to the gym at 5 a.m. with your roommate and you do it, your self-worth goes up. If you start your project at Friday night at 5 p.m. because you said you were going to do it, your self-worth goes up. And when you finish the summer with Southwestern, your self-worth is going to go way up because you didn't quit on yourself and you pushed through all the challenges. So going into the summer, we like to have the mentality that we're going to finish what we start. And when you're doing all four of these things of working hard, studying hard, being coachable, you're going to have a successful summer.
Oh, yeah.
sweet. Thank you so much, Kyle and Liz. We all love to hear some good stuff about coachability, working hard, and just being basically players of the game, right? That's awesome. So obviously you guys are all here because you love challenge. We currently have 203 participants looking for a good challenge this summer. So give you guys a round of applause for just being here today, being present, and eager to learn more. Also, if you guys have any questions at any time during the seminar, feel free to type in the question in the Q&A and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If we don't get to you, please text your student leader and they'll make sure to answer those questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring back Joe Ignis and properly introduce Joe. So Joe is going on his 5th summer as an organizational field leader. He won the Student Excellence Award after his 2nd summer for having top 25 teams as an in-schooler and #1 second-year salesperson worldwide, and doing a ton of things of community service and being a leader on campus. So go ahead and take it again, Joe.
All righty, sweet. I'm excited for the cycle selling. I still don't, I can. Did it go? Hang on, all right, here we go. Let's see if it's gonna go next slide. You just wanna hit it for me, Elizabeth? Yes, okay. Is it a break now? No, next slide. There we go. We're skipping the break because we're incredibly efficient humans. We're just going too fast for that. So, all right. So we're going to talk about cycle sell, and then I have the pleasure to introduce some of our 5 of our top producers in TD. So first, we're just going to go over kind of what they're going to talk about and kind of what it's going to be about in relation to virtual versus in-person selling. So hit that next slide for me. All right, sweet. So if you don't know what the cycle of selling it is, everybody just grab your piece of paper, and that's okay. Some of you guys were selected this week. Some of y'all have been on the team since last October. So if your knowledge level is a little bit different, it really doesn't matter that much because in the next 2 weeks, you can learn a lot of things you need to know. If you've been on the team since October, you have an opportunity for the next 2 weeks to really make stuff happen and be one of those top first years. Okay, so write down the cycle of selling. Start with the approach, introduction, then we go to the demo, we go to the close, the payment, website registration, online marketing, and we got recommendations and referrals, okay? And we're gonna go over like the in-person selling because that's the majority of what we're gonna do this summer. And virtual sales school is like 14 days away. It's 2 weeks from now. So we're gonna go a lot more in detail how that process is gonna work, but it's pretty much almost the exact same as selling. You know, in my experience these past few days, I did the same presentation I do with a mom on the actual book field. So that's kind of how we went with it. So I'm pretty excited about it. So if you learn this stuff really well, it's going to be a few word difference from your sales talks you're learning right now for virtual selling, and just a little bit different where you use your tone of voice a little bit more and your expressions. Not that much different though. So first person coming up here is one of my partners in crime. Hailing from Grand Rapids, Michigan, going on his 3rd summer. Top first year, his first year from Central Michigan. Hit growth this last summer, which means he increased by about $6,000 in profit from 1st to 2nd summer. Leading with Michigan State, it's Alex Silva. There he is. Is it working, Alex? You might be muted.
Yeah, I'm unable to start my video.
Okay.
Cool. So bada bing, bada boom. So what I'm going to be covering today, guys, is the approach. So the main reason for the approach is to answer 4 basic questions. The first question is, who are you? The second one is, what are you doing? The third one is, why should I care? And the last one is, how long is this going to take? So boom, there I am. Now you guys can see my pretty face too. So through the approach, we answer those 4 basic questions. So first, what we do, we have to knock, right? So we knock. And then after we knock, I make sure that I take 6 to 10 steps back. Because if you're standing there over top of the door and a stay-at-home mom or a family is sitting inside, it'd probably be a little bit uncomfortable to just have a big hunk of a man or even a girl standing right in front of the door, right in front of your face, right? So we make sure that we take 6 steps back and we turn to the side. right? So you get a side profile. So make sure that you're grinning from ear to ear. I try to smile so big that you can see, honestly, my like tonsils from the back of my throat. Just big one, right? So make sure that you keep your distance and that you actually feel comfortable, because they can definitely tell if you feel kind of uncomfy, whether you're crossing your legs, whatever it may be, right? So I then place my bag in between me and the door, so that it gives them a little bit of a leeway. So, and that'll actually take process a little bit later in the approach. So making sure that I have my 6 steps back, I stand sideways, and I look comfortable. And then when the mom actually comes out, or the dad, I make sure that I make eye contact. Because when you make eye contact, it shows your confidence in what you're actually doing, right? So making sure that you make eye contact and that you go low and slow. So when you're introducing yourself, there will be some times where you are going so fast through the approach where they just don't understand what you're saying. So making sure that you go low and slow so that they can hear you and they can actively process those 4 questions of who you are, what you're doing, why they should care, and how long it's actually going to take. So just making sure that you're always yourself in your approach too. You don't have to be some robot that is just talking to them. It's like, hey, my name is Alex Silva, and I'm here with Southwestern Advantage, right? So and making sure that you're a cool college kid. Just be a cool college kid, because you are what they want their kids to be. So, and then from there, there'll be a point where it actually says to go for the bag. This is, if there's anything that you guys take away from my part, it's going for the bag and being assumptive about it. Because in the first few weeks, if you totally forget everything that you're supposed to say in your approach, including your name, and you just go for your bag, you are going to get some sit downs this summer, because they just are so confident in what you're doing. They're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to sit down with this person. So the best time, say that they still don't understand what you're doing or what you're talking about. From there, it's like you just got a second approach, right? And the second approach isn't some super drastically different approach, and it's just going to be the magic way to get inside. But what it is it's reiterating those 4 questions. Because sometimes when you come to the door, they might have just been cooking, they might have just been doing laundry or trying to put the kids down, whatever it may be. And they're trying to answer those 4 questions in their head while you're also talking, and it's just impossible. So you're just really reiterating, right, any questions that they might have. So the best time to second approach is literally every single time, unless they let you in the first time. But from there, door demoing and making sure that they actually know what you're doing, because even then, sometimes people still they just don't get it. They don't understand what you're doing. So letting them know, hey, what I'm doing is I'm just showing some different educational stuff. So check it out. And then pulling out a book and showing them what you're actually doing. There will definitely be times this summer where literally just by door demoing, they're like, oh, this makes sense. So it's like actually educational stuff. I thought you were going to like the Kirby vacuum guy, right? So it lets them know what you're doing, and they're actually helping out with education. So no matter what, always leaving a card. So there's no better feeling of leaving a card and having a family either reach back out to you, or at least a family kind of know what you're doing. Because if you happen to miss a family and you get to catch them later in the day, they're like, oh yeah, totally missed you. You're Alex the Bookman, right? So, and it's like, yeah, absolutely. So the approach, go for it. You'll slowly learn how to make it yourself and how to be more comfortable doing so. So cool.
There you go, Alex. Love it, guys. So approaching is the thing you're going to do the most often this summer. So you want to get as good as that you possibly can to make every interaction better. Because without the approach, right, you don't get to do all the other stuff. You got to get a sit down to move on to the next one. So Alex, you did a great job. I just want to point out to everybody, Alex with some incredible socks, sandals combination, just to make himself look like such an awesome human to every mom that he talks to. I loved it. And bringing that style right back. So next we've got another wonderful Southwestern human. She was actually in my cohort my first summer. Her name's Ray Flores. She's going on her 5th year with Southwestern, just like me. UC Davis grad from California. Top experience last summer of all the dealers who've done this more than one summer. Multiple time growth award winner. So from summer to summer, she's increased, by over $6,000 profit more than once. And she leads the massive San Diego State University campus. Give it up to Ray Flores, talking about the intro.
Woo, we all get to cheer for ourselves because it's just awkward silence in the background. Yeah, I am the most important, so I get to talk about the most important part of the sales conversation. Just kidding. But this part is the most important for sure. The introduction, as you probably heard before, is actually where the sale is made or lost. So the first thing you want to do in your introduction is establish who you are. And who you are is not a stereotypical salesperson showing up at their door. Who you are is a really cool college kid with a really awesome internship. And so you got to be excited about what you're actually doing. Selling is a transference of feeling, and you don't have to be fake excited about it, but genuinely excited. You know, absolutely. I love all the people out here. This place is awesome. I've been having a ton of fun here, and you actually mean that. So establish who you are, and you want to build up Southwestern Advantage a little bit. Most families have not heard of this company. The reason why is they only hear about it if someone cool like you comes and knocks on their door. We don't advertise all over the internet or TV like most companies do. We are a college-run organization, which is awesome. So build up Southwestern a little bit. And then, do I have power here of the slick? I do not. Can someone switch to the next slide? Then you're going to explain what you're doing to actually pull out the slick here, which is going to have a snapshot of all the products that you have. It's just all super simple, so they know exactly what's going on. And then the most important thing after that is you're actually going to start to build some rapport. So if you go to the next slide, you're going to see my face with a whole bunch of families that I got to work with this last summer. And so names and stories are going to be what actually humanizes you more than anything. And they're going to be absolute proof that you're legitimate and you're cool. You know, no one can argue with these pictures. Like, I've never had someone be like, did you just pay someone to take those with you? Like, no, they're real families. So, you know, I have a ton of customers who pick them up, and you use 3D names. You actually want to paint pictures of those families, you know, describe stories of when you were hanging out with them, talk about why they were cool, talk about why you had a ton of fun with them. And if you're an overthinker like I am, don't freak out about not having names in the beginning of the summer here. You know, they help a ton, but they're not necessary. Just remember the law of averages there, that you're playing a numbers game at first. All right. So then after the after you go through names, you're going to ask questions. Oopsies, I'm going backwards. Someone help. So asking questions is where you are going to actually shut up and listen. And that's how you're actually going to serve that family. Imagine yourself as a doctor who is poking around an injury, and the injury is their educational life, and you're poking around until you find something that hurts, and they go, ow, and then you poke it a little more just to make sure. Okay. So when you're asking questions, that's what you're doing. You're literally finding a need. You're kind of creating that need there. And that's how you're going to actually tailor the rest of your presentation. Cool. So then after that, if you're on my team, or, you know, in SDSU or at all, you hear us harping about the why being so important. You know, people don't buy what you do, they're going to buy why you do it. So then you're actually going to go through a couple of reasons why other families have picked this up. Okay. And people aren't really going to believe what you say because you're still a stranger at their door, but they definitely are going to believe what their friends have said. So that's why when you're telling reasons why, what you're really doing is just telling stories from all the other families that have already picked up stuff from you. Okay. That's really awesome because that's a skill that you'll actually use in pretty much anything that you do after this program. And then the last part of the intro is my very favorite part, because it is an attitude that you have at all times. The buying atmosphere is not just words that you say in the introduction. A buying atmosphere is basically you saying to yourself at every point of the day, every family you sit down with, that you want to serve that family and you really truly don't care if they pick it up or not. Okay, you never want to get caught up in like, I really want you guys to buy this, so, you know, buy it. You are just there to help them make a decision and show them what it is. But the buying atmosphere, what it does is it takes off the pressure. So again, it allows you to not be that stereotypical salesperson who doesn't take no for an answer and hangs around for a long time, you know, trying to get people to change their mind. Takes off the pressure, and it's going to save your butt a whole bunch because it's going to prevent maybes, because you're literally asking them a favor. You're saying, hey, can you give me a big yes or a big no at the end of this? You know, either way is totally fine. I do really, really well around here, but just give me big yes, big no. And what it does is it eliminates a lot of the in-betweens and the wishy-washiness. So that is the introduction. If you've done a good job there, people are with you, then you're going to be able to continue on to your demonstration. If they are not super into it after the introduction, then you know they're probably just not a buyer. So it keeps it really simple.
All right. Thank you, Ray. Ray crushes closing percentage, has tons of customers. So that was an awesome part. Thank you, Ray, for dropping that knowledge on us. A good intro, you know, you always want to do an intro. Don't forget to do one. Everyone does that their first day. If you have an intro, you will have a lot more buyers this summer. And the better you get at the intro, those are like the things that get real fun. You get excited about like figuring out an objection or like a certain type of family, like a teacher to sell to versus like a single mom versus the high school family. There's all these cool different ways that you'll learn those skills. And it's like a puzzle that you get better at. So love the interest. Thanks, Ray. All right. So up next, we got Ben Majetsky. He's going to be talking about the demo. Okay. So he's 8th year with Southwestern, proud alumnus of Aquinas College, lax player, water polo, athletes in college at MSU, Aquinas College as well. Leads Central Michigan University and Purdue. Top experience last 4 summers in a row. Won the TD Fantasy Football title in 2018 and the bowling champ of TD this year. Everybody up, give it up for Ben Majetsky.
Yeah, the crowd's going wild. So let's do one big takeaway from this part. And the only takeaway is that Ray's part that she just did is much more important than this part. Okay, this is the demonstration. This is when you actually show the books. This does not matter as much as having them be bought into the idea behind what this is. So that's the intro. The intro is where the books are sold. The demo is just where you prove it. So the intro should be about like maybe at least 7 to 10 minutes. And then the demo, this can only be about 2 minutes. And it's awesome. So the whole point is just to fill the need that's been created in the intro. And yes, so it should be much shorter. So the format for actually demoing some books, you don't just go ahead and just shove books in their face. Like, look at this, see, pages. There's a strategy to it. So the first thing you do is you take them through what's called, you can see it there, the pain funnel. Just like Ray said, when you're poking a hole and they're like, ow. It's basically like when you're actually showing the books, it's remember that time that this one thing stunk really bad. So I'm going to relate with all of you guys really quick. Remember when you were in middle or high school and you brought your homework home after a long day of practice and you didn't remember how to do that one problem? You're just staring at it and you're like, I don't know how to do this. Is it fun to sit there and stare at that? They're like, no. It's like, cool. Then I show the section of the book to prove it. Okay. And as they're sitting there like, wow, that's awesome. You ask what's called a trial closing question. So basically it's checking their temperature, because I don't really care if people buy books or not buy books. I just want to just find out. So it's okay if people don't buy, but we ask questions the whole time to basically figure that out. So if I ask them like, did that look pretty cool? And then they're like, yeah, that's awesome. It's like, awesome, cool, they like me. Like, let's keep going. And if they're not super into it, it's okay too. But basically, the cool thing about the even just selling books or in general, it's that second bullet. It's called enthusiasm, because we can treat this job serious all day. Like, oh my gosh, the most hardcore internship is we're going to go work hard all summer, until you're sitting cross-legged on a floor with a 3-year-old, and you're like, which one's the zebra? And then the little kids poking the book, they're like pulling the book out of your hands. And all of a sudden you realize that this job is just hanging out with the cool families and making kids smile. It's like when people shadow me, it's like all these uptight people, all of a sudden it's like, dude, just have fun with kids. And it's just crazy because kids love books. This stuff literally just sells themselves, and moms are into education. So again, they already bought the books in the intro. The demo doesn't need to be 8 hours. That's the biggest mistake. It's just to kind of prove it. So the intro is like, oh, I like that idea. Like basically the demo is like, see? And then they're like, yeah, it's cool. You're like, cool, now I know I can move on to this next part, because the point has been proven. So this helps you be in control. Just don't demo forever. And when in doubt, intro it out, because that's the biggest reason when I follow people and they start selling a lot of books, it's like, we'll do a presentation and I'll leave. I'll be like, dude, you didn't even do an intro. You just pulled a book out. So there's one part to study, one part to practice, and just make sure you do every time is the intro. The demo is not that difficult. You just have fun. And that's all I got. Back to Joe.
Right, Ben, that was an awesome part. Yeah, I love hearing that about how basically when you're doing a kids book demo, it's literally about just being a dorky, goofy, overly excited college kid showing the books mostly to the kids and the kid just excited and grabbing your sample book, or like sometimes you got to pull it away so they don't rip the page. So absolutely. You're just seeing a kid even playing like the apps and stuff. So for sure. Love it. So thank you, Ben, for dropping that knowledge on us. So next, okay, we've got Vicky Varberg. So she's going to be talking about the price buildup and the close. It's a little bit about Vicky. She was a walker her first summer. So anybody who's a walker, you can raise your hand. She was a walker her first summer, top first year, and she was 17 years old. Right? Really no excuse to go crush it this summer if you're a walker. 17 years old, actually grew up in the Philippines too, which is kind of crazy. She's a UC Davis graduate, another Californian, associate sales leader. She is in charge of like $200,000 of retail sales and business that she manages. So she's ridiculously successful. Top first year, top experienced dealer every single summer. Got to go to the elite company trip in Cartagena, Colombia this past January for having a 25,000 units in her group. So everybody give it up for Vicky Varberg.
Hey, hello. Cool, thanks for that, Joe. Hey guys, so I'm really excited to talk about this part because to be honest, when I was first thinking about doing this was the part that was the most nerve-wracking. I was like, ooh, I gotta talk about money, and then I gotta see if they want to buy it. So now I'm going to talk about kind of how we do that and how we make it really relaxed and comfortable for you guys. So first of all, talking about, the price buildup when we talk about how much our products cost. Like Ben said, like the sale is made in the introduction. So pretty much after the introduction, you're connecting with this person, getting to explain why these products are valuable. That's really when, people are like, all right, this is what they want to buy it or they don't, pretty much. And then like Ben said, the demo is just having fun with them and kind of showing them to prove how it works. And basically at this point, if you've been taking trial closing questions and they're with you, all right, cool, this person wants to buy. Half the time they'll actually ask me. They're like, all right, cool, this is awesome. How much does it cost? And when actually thinking about our products, I honestly think that the price is one of the biggest reasons why we're able to be really successful. Because we also, when we talk about it, we paint the picture of education as being an investment. Our products help kids do well in school and do well on their SATs and ACTs. That way they can get into good colleges, get scholarships, get good jobs, save money, and make more money down the road. That's just kind of how education works. But the crazy thing is, parents spend a lot of money on some ridiculous things that we all remember as kids, but probably weren't as big investments, like play sets. You can click the next one too, Liz or Beth, and little drive around car things, and swings, that cost, multiple times more than, even some of our best packages that are going to last kids all the way until they graduate high school. So understanding that the prices of our products are really valuable because of putting it in perspective of kind of what parents spend money on, but also how long this sort of investment is going to last for kids. So we're able to paint that picture with families and compare it to other things that they might be spending on. But then we get to the close, which again, I was really nervous about because I just kind of expected this being kind of like, so do you want to buy it? Like, is it time now? Which just seems super awkward. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. The coolest part about the close, you guys, is we actually teach you a super laid back method. And that is pretty much completely based on psychology, where we guide the family to the decision by asking a series of small yes or no questions. Basically things that are less upfront or like big or heavy as a question of like, is this definitely something you want to get? So asking a series of smaller questions that kind of lead them to that decision makes it a lot easier for them, also easier for us. It's kind of like getting a series of green lights. And also those smaller yes or no questions, if they say no, then we have the ability to kind of address that. Maybe it's, they want something smaller. Maybe they want to do a payment plan, something like that. Well, if we just ask one big question, then there's kind of there's no going back from that. So super casual. And then we're able to, like I said, address those questions using names of other families that have purchased from us and their stories. But the cool part about the close as well, you guys, is we do teach you how to do it in this really laid back way that makes sense for the customers and for you once you do it. But you also literally have a script that tells you exactly what to say. And literally, this is my 6th year doing this program, and I still say the close exactly the same, word for word, because that's the part where you might start to get nervous. That's the part where Mrs. Jones might start to get nervous. So just making sure you say in the exact words makes it really easy. And we actually teach a lot of body language. I actually lean way back when I start the close, and to really kind of exemplify that, like, relaxed, it's not a big deal aspect about it. So, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys and kind of explain what those steps look like, because that's kind of what I was most nervous about. And once I understood, hey, that's actually really simple, it follows psychology, and I could actually see myself doing that, that's when I started to realize, man, this could be something that'd be really fun. Cool. So that's what I'll say on price, build up, and close. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you, Vicky. I think she's the youngest person that has spoken all day. So go for being young, and age is not a limitation. So go Vicky Barberg. Okay, sweet. So for the next one there, if you want to go to the next one, I'm doing the next portion. No, it's not. It's Heather. I'm just kidding. All right, Heather Fisk, everybody. She's 7th year in Southwestern. Ooh, that was a nice little mess up there. Top first year, first summer, and top experienced dealer every single year since her first year. That is 6 years of being a top experienced dealer in a row. Best summer, over $35,000 in 12 weeks. That's personal take-home profit. And that's like, there's probably some inflation on that, and we get paid more now. So she probably made more like 40 something if she was paid the way we're paid right now. She's a field sales leader, leads one of the fastest growing groups in Southwestern. Actually misquoted Vicky Varberg's in charge of like $425,000 in sales, and she's like 22. And Heather's in charge of like double that, so like $800,000, nearly $1 million in business, just that past summer. So Heather's going to be talking to us about how to collect some cash, which she is obviously really good at, collecting lots of cash, and how to log people onto the websites. All right, everybody get up for Heather.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be able to talk to you again. Yes, I'm going to be going over payment and login. I'm also going to be explaining why it's really important to get a tablet with service before our selling season begins on May 17th. So we sell systems, right? The books and the websites go hand in hand, similar to a toothbrush and toothpaste, or a car and putting gas in your car. They go hand in hand and complement each other. I know I've gotten a lot of good feedback from the Arizona and New Mexico groups about how cool the website is, our 24-hour tutorial service, being partnered with National Geographic, Princeton Review Services, and, you know, having a website system for babies all the way through parents. We are actually the only company that offers one family of websites that covers the entire family, where most other companies offer different options. So I'm going to be going through exactly what it looks like. So Beth, if you wouldn't mind unsharing your screen really quick, so I can share this with you guys. And so what this looks like over the summer, if you can see this. So this is my iPad here. And this is why it's important to have your iPad, because we are going to be demoing the websites, the apps, as we're going through the books. So we have Squids on there, Advantage for Kids, Homer, our 24-hour tutorial. Sales Rabbit is how we keep track of the families that we've talked to. Our Facebook pages, that's where you get to upload the pictures I was talking about that you take with families. Stats is where you upload your stats. And then the Advantage for Dealers right here. This is actually how we take orders over the summer. So we do have a paper order form as a backup, just in case your tablet doesn't work. But this is by far the quickest and most conducive way for your business, especially during virtual selling. You'll be sharing your screen just like I am right now with the family that you're talking to. So like Vicki had mentioned, you assumptively go after the close and say, yeah, just to get you guys started on that, do you get your mail here or at the post office? And then it's finger to tablet, you look down, and then they give you their address, You fill in their name. You should know their name at that point. You say, yeah, what was your last name? Go ahead and put their name in there. And then they live in small town Idaho, for this example. You need their email in there to be able to sign them up for the website. Then you go into the next step and you get to click through whatever it was that they found the most helpful that they wanted to get, right? So whether that's the kids system, or let's say that they wanted the core 4 system, which would be math, science, and social studies, which would be our 4 books with the online subscription. So you would click all of those. So then you go to the next screen here and you go over this with them. You kind of turn it over and say, yep, does that all look correct? And then they would be able to sign there at the bottom, which I'd already done just for time's sake. And then get a chance to collect cash. So the main thing to write down here is you give them the choice of 2 positives and use names, just like we've been mentioning in all of our other parts. Names are key. Names, names, names. So you're like, yeah, you know, Becky really, really loved that this is covering all of her kids' school subjects that she's going to use once or twice a week, but she's going to be able to use it for the next 5 or 6 years, right? 5 or 6 years. And what she also appreciated is since we take orders now and we deliver them at the end of the summer, you could either take care of all of it or you could break up the balance. Would you want to take care of all of it or see how payment options worked? And so they could either pay in full. Most folks do choose to do half now and then half upon delivery, but you can also do it every 2 weeks based on their pay schedule. So you only want to give them 2 options at a time. So let's say they choose to do half now and then half at the end of the summer, or half now and half on their next pay period. So then you would have them look over this, Then they would sign here, so subscribing to the weekly newsletter, clicking that. So since we're with the Better Business Bureau and have an A+ rating with them, they get to go ahead and they have the option to cancel within 3 days. That is their right. So we need to make sure that they're informed of that. However, when you do a good job of explaining the system to them, that doesn't happen very often. So you just have them sign there. Then you go into the next phase where you can either have them, you're collecting money either in cash, check, or card. Cash, check, or card. So let's just say that they were doing it through check. So that's what I did for the first payment there. So then you can copy it and schedule what day you want that to come out. And then write this down for all of our web subscriptions. You need to have their routing and account numbers because that's what keeps up the most retention. And people will ask you if they could do their website subscription on a card. They definitely can, but it interrupts their service when the card expires. So most people actually opt to have their routing and account number on there. So you save that. They can either choose to have that billed on the 1st or the 15th of every month. And then you go into the next step, which would be signing them up for the websites. So it gives you the option there. And Beth, you can go ahead and pull up the slideshow again. The slideshow on there. So that's exactly what it looks like to sign somebody up.
All righty, awesome. Thank you, Heather. She's just dropping some knowledge on us too. So just to give you guys some perspective of Heather, one of my proudest moments in Southwestern, well, really my proudest achievement is beating Heather 2 out of 3 summers in experienced teacher, beating her, outselling her. So those are my proudest experience. She's a lot of competition and a bunch of fun. So thank you, Heather, for the payment login stuff. So I am the next portion. Yes, I got it this time. Okay, cool. So I'm going to run through this stuff out. You know, if I get an intro at some point, great. You guys will get to know me. Doesn't really matter. But I'm excited to go over some Facebook marketing, pre-approach, recs, and referrals for you guys. Go on my 5th summer, stuff like that. But so a couple things about marketing. So we're going to talk about basically feeling like a local business owner instead of knocking on doors. Because when you get to this next level mentality of where you literally own a business in this school district or your county, your whole summer is going to feel completely different. You're going to feel different about what you're doing because you're going to have like a lot of respect. It's going to feel good. You're going to get excited about building a business instead of just like feeling like you're knocking on doors. Okay. So every time you get a sale, I mean, every time, you have to get a picture with the family and the products they bought. So this is a family over here that was really hard to catch, but I eventually caught them, and they bought books almost as tall as their daughter. It was awesome, right? You post that, and you got this thing called a solidifying question. So everybody please write down a solidifying question. Okay, my first summer, I did not ask this question. That was bad. So at the end of a sale, the last thing you want people to remember is why they purchased the educational investment, not you getting out of there as fast as you can with $600 that they just spent, okay? So you ask them, oh, hey, Miss Jones, what's the biggest reason you bought this today? And then you actually will post that on Facebook, her testimonial, which also puts that in a bank of testimonials that you can tell other clients later on, right? So you want to keep track of those things, okay? But it makes them feel really good because they're going to have this moment when they look at their kids who are excited about their books and their apps, and they're gonna be like, yeah, I just want my kids to be successful. And you're gonna feel really good as a human being for helping a family with their kids' education, okay? And you're creating that brand, okay? So when you post it, you literally have mom right there with her phone, like and share the post with her family, and she's gonna like and share your main video that you're gonna make on your Facebook page. And last summer, I got about 15,000 views and about a 30,000 person count. It's like 1 in 2 or 3 people like knew who I was, who Joe the Bookman was. And so by the end of the summer, you can imagine how much different that's going to be when you knock on a door and they're like, oh, I think I've heard about you. Didn't the second grade math teacher buy from you? And you'd be like, yeah, they actually did. I'm Joe, right? How much better of an approach is that going to feel like? Okay. So that's Facebook marketing. That's how valuable it is. You do it right by the end of the summer, it's going to pay dividends. And it just takes those first, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to get that customer base going. Because when everyone starts to like and share your stuff, it recirculates with those friends of friends on their stories. Okay, so that's Facebook marketing for you. Let's see. It won't let me go to the next one. So if you click that. Awesome. So we're talking about recs and referrals. Another reason when you're going to feel like a small business owner and professional versus just like hitting a bunch of doors in the summer. Okay. So the more pre-approach you get, the more sit downs you get, the better your approaches feel. And the more customers you get, the more momentum you're going to have. So you're going to have a base of customers over time. And the more customers you get by week 3 and 4, you're going to explode, because then you're going to have a list of 40 customers and you're going to have all these people know your high school families and middle school families. And they're like, whoa, I'm pretty excited about oh, I can't believe my friend's using this. Cool. What you got? Right. And that's when these recommendations, referrals, these names that you're, these customers, these clients that you have from the summer, it's going to build that momentum. Okay. So every time, you talk to someone, you want to get this thing called pre-approach. And so recommendation referral is a little bit different than pre-approach, but pre-approach is like the overarching category. Okay. So some basic pre-approach, which is like, hey, I'm just trying to skip over empty nesters. Do you mind, should I stop or skip, next door? And then on your Sales Rabbit app, you're going to kind of skip, you're going to write it down. Can you go to that next slide? You're going to actually, that next slide there. It did not delete the way I was supposed to, but that's okay. We'll just go from this right here. You just click through. You can just pause now. You just pause. It's cool. I'll just ad-lib it. Awesome. Perfect. This is fine too. Wasn't supposed to be in the presentation, but that's okay. And we'll see can I click it? I can't even click it, can I? Well, that's okay too. So basically, this is kind of what we were just talking about, right? And you have this app called Sales Rabbit. So Sales Rabbit's basically something you put on your tablet. It's got a Google Earth version of, streets. And so you can drop pins at all the houses. So that way you can skip over people that don't have kids. So what you're trying to do, instead of just like aimlessly wandering around on streets somewhere, what you're going to do is you're going to go family to family. You become a heat-seeking missile, right? So imagine if you go, it's your 3rd day and that this house has got kids already and you can skip, the next 5 houses. You go skip those 5 houses and they're home, and you go from approach, sit down, sale to another approach and sit down, right? So that's the power of pre-approach. It's going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to put you in front of as many prospects as possible. And a prospect is a family with kids. I want to write that down. Prospect's a family with kids, that's capable of basically making a decision in about 20-minute presentation or so. Okay, now recommendations, referrals. Okay, recommendations and referrals. These are a little bit different. They're a little bit more advanced, and they're warmer. Okay, so after, the only time you really ask for recommendations and referrals is after a good sit down and after a customer. Okay, so at the door, right, if you demoed somebody and they like weren't that interested, but they're a cool person, they kind of like let you know which ones to skip or whatever, like which houses. Then what's cool about that is you can just like, okay, cool, I can skip these, I can save time. But if you ask them what age the kids, you know, for example, they have at the door, you can imagine that that would be kind of weird, right? So don't do that. Okay, so that's not, you have to read the situations and where you go. And so what you want to learn though is with these recommendations, referrals at the end of an actual sit down is the name of the parents, right? Why, for example, they might be a good prospect, right? So how they know them. So that way you can tell that person how you can connect, okay? You want to know what time they're going to be home. So where to go, what to show, when to go. And then when you get really good and remember this, you can actually have them send a text to that friend that at some point this week you're going to go knock on their door and they recommend you, right? So then you go knock on that door when they're home. You say, hey, are you Mrs. Jones? Yeah, your best friend, the Clarences recommended I come talk to you. I'm the bookman. I'm the one who's been sitting down with all the families showing an educational system. They actually bought the stuff for the high school kids. They said y'all had high school as well. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's nothing you have to get. It just takes like 2 or 3 minutes. You probably saw their text too. Okay, cool. Do you have a spot to sit inside or is maybe out here better? Is that completely different than your first day or what? And that's the power of pre-approach, recommendations and referrals. And that's what you're going to learn so much of is how to do that while you're virtually selling. So you get there your first day and you're starting from the ground running. So I'm pretty excited about it. Okay. So when you go from recommendation, referral to pre-approach to family to family to family on Sales Rabbit, your days go by quicker. You increase your sit downs from like 10 to 12 to like 18 to 20. And you're going to have a great summer when you have a lot of sit down presentations. So I'm just going to click through the rest of this really quick. And we might come back to it later, I guess, but so gravy time, right? So most people are home after 5. When you know that most people are home, you'll go back to them. And there's a little script for it if anybody wants to write that down. But you're going to have all this in Selling 101. And my part was kind of short, so I didn't want to take up too much stuff because it's going to be hard to write all that stuff down. So, but that last point right there is appreciate every portion of the help they're giving you. Because when they give you pre-approach, you should say, thank you so much. You're saving so much time. Thank you so much. And make them feel really good, because something that you're going to learn in Southwestern is that every door you knock on, leave people in a great mood, in a better mood than you saw them. And you'll feel great in the summer, make them laugh. Okay. And then they're going to love to help you out, and they want to help you out if you treat people well, right? So treat people well, they'll treat you well. That's kind of the pre-approach that we're kind of looking for there. So I think that's pretty much it for all I've got.
Sweet. Thank you so much. That was awesome. We all love the cycle of the sale, right? It's amazing. There's so much that goes into the cycle of the sale, from the approach to the demo to the intro. It's just so juicy. It's amazing. So hopefully you guys learned a lot, and let us know what your favorite part was. Was it the pre-approach? Was it the introduction, the demo? Let us know what you really like about the cycle of the sale. So that was awesome. Thank you so much for that. So now we're going to go on an awesome 10-minute break. So it is currently 2:34 Mountain Time. So we're going to hop back on at 2:44. Like I said, Mountain Time. So we'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Tea break. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully your pee break was good and you guys were able to just refresh and are ready to roll and learn some more information. So I'm gonna go ahead and politely introduce Tim Sakanikov. And just to introduce Tim, one second. So Tim had his best summer, over 35K. He is an ASL and Southwestern Advantage and leads students at UTK and Kazakhstan. And he is also married to Erin. Go ahead and take it over, Tim.
All right. I am struggling with my video currently, but we don't need a video right now because I'm going to go ahead and introduce Josh Ignas. Oh, by the way, here's the picture of all the TD at our wedding last September, which is really, really cool. Fun, TD. All right, so Josh Ignas is the sharp guy on his 4th year with Southwestern Advantage. He has a top experience in 2019, made over 20 grand last summer with some awesome residuals are still coming in each month. He's a corporate recruiter at Purdue University. He invented excellence, and he's excited to prove that he is the best Ignas Southwestern has ever seen. What's up, Josh?
Cool. What's up, guys? Go Purdue-gies. Nice to meet everybody. Yeah, so what I'm going to be covering is I'm going to be covering our Advantage books. This is one of our product lines, kind of just explaining how they work a little bit. So the first thing to note, it's really just important to note the whole point of our Advantage books are just help save time and to save frustration for families with schoolwork, homework, studying, all that kind of stuff. And we have a whole set. It's a set of 6 books that covers everything in math, science, history, all that kind of stuff. And, basically how they work is just, think back to, back when you were in elementary school or middle school or high school, like, have you ever not known, like for math, for example, have you ever not known how to start a math problem? Like, it made sense in school when your teacher was going over it, but then after the whole day in sports and stuff, you got back home, you're looking at your homework assignment, you're like, yeah, no clue, kind of like what Ben was talking, like, I have no clue how to do this. And then maybe you pop onto YouTube and you're trying to work on limits or something, or fractions when you were smaller, I guess, and you find a big video, it's 20 minutes and covers, oh, this is what a fraction and all the theory and all the crap, and you're like, I'm just tired, I want to go to bed, I don't want to do this schoolwork. So wouldn't it be cool if you just had a resource all the way throughout school from 1st to 12th grade that already had all the most common math problems already worked out for you? So that's kind of what it's for. All it does is in math, it'll break down all the most common examples you get in school from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all the way through senior of high school, where it breaks down exactly how to do it, step by step by step by step, instead of all the theory and stuff like that. So you just find the example that looks like what you're working with in school and just get your problem done faster, And has it ever happened where your teacher covered a couple of the easier examples in class because they don't have time to cover all the examples? And then you get down a problem number 10 or 15 or 20, it looks completely different than the way your teacher taught it. And you're like, what the heck? This doesn't even match up. Well, wouldn't it be cool if you had a resource that had all those harder examples that were already done for you in math? Yes, because it's frustrating, right? So that's what it's for, is what it'll do is it'll cover all the different situations for that type of problem. Like for mixed fractions, it'll explain one way how to do it, explain another way how to do it, from the easy mixed fraction ones all the way to the harder ones. And a lot of times that we get it, in the summer, is a lot of times when parents and kids have questions, your parents have you ever asked your mom or your dad to help you out before? God, that's trouble, right? Sometimes they'll just be like, I have no freaking clue, or it's just, it's been a long time and I don't remember doing, derivatives or limits and stuff. We never had that in school. Or even they might be helping out and they get the answer right, but they just show the work differently. So for all the problems from all 12 years, it'll actually give you different methods of how to do the problems. Have old ways, new ways, and different ways besides that. So if a kid just understands it a different way, they can follow how to get the problem done that way, but then transfer it to the way the teacher wants it. But also just helps parents help their kids, because, everyone's just busy in life, just driving kids around, making dinner, work. So instead of searching everywhere else, it's all in one place for math. Covers everything in math. And there's apps that help out with those too that have a quick tutorial video how to do all your problems. So there's 2 math books that do all that. Having a hard time going to the next slide. Elizabeth, can you go to the next slide? There's a whole book for science that covers everything in science for the same situations to help get it done quicker. Like, I don't know if you were ever in chemistry class and you're like, Mom, can you help me out with stoichiometry? Your mom's like, what? So that's the same thing for all your stoichiometry problems, where it breaks down different examples, easier ones, harder ones, all that kind of stuff. Tons of visual charts for everything with like mitosis, meiosis, just to study faster instead of try to dissect a whole textbook trying to find all your stuff. And a lot of kids can't even bring home textbooks anymore. So parents are like, man, it'd be great to have a resource around the house too. Next one, social studies, language arts. Same idea. You know, if you ever cover like World War II, I think we skipped that one. Same idea for social studies and language arts. It covers all your subjects and all those topics. And like, for example, like history, right? You'll be talking about like World War II or the Civil War, or, you know, just the whole history of America. And you've got all those dates and all those people and all that stuff. And you're trying to study for this test that's happening like tomorrow, and you're trying to get all those dates organized in your head. Well, wouldn't it be cool if there was just like a timeline that already had all your dates in order with all the main topics you need to know for your test? So you'll actually just do that on 2 pages versus trying to collect all your notes and get all your homeworks and like organize it yourself, spending all that time to organize it. Just has it done for you. And like for essays too, like, have you ever just not known where to start for an essay or where to go for research? It'll have 7 steps to how to write an essay. And then you've got, I think the next one's topic source, Elizabeth. You got the next one. Honors, if you ever took AP classes like in high school, I took like AP chemistry, AP calculus. Honors is the whole book that's dedicated. It's kind of like almost like your SAT and ACT prep. It's literally just a structured process how to get great grades on your AP classes so you can get like really cheap college credit. So that's what a lot of high school students like about that. Topic source is all the material you're ever going to need for all your most common essays all the way throughout school, which all in one place. So the whole point of the whole set, right, guys, 6 books covers literally every single subject the kids will ever need. So they always have a reliable resource around the house, whether they like their teacher, aren't sure how to do something. They're like a straight A kid that's just like doing all the hard classes, all the sports, and you get home late at night at 9 p.m., sweaty, hungry, you got some problems to do. Just pop it right open, shows you exactly how to do your problems. Quick study for this busy kid. So, and these are some people that bought it from me. There's just 2. So, all right, cool. Back to you, Tim. Advantage.
Awesome, Josh. Thank you very much. All right, I think we're gonna proceed with Mr. the Flamethrower, as he's commonly known, Mr. Ben Bressler. I have a pleasure of introducing him today. He's an 8th year bookman. He graduated from University of Arizona and now leads UT Chat. Go Mocs. He is a very unique Person of the Year member of 2016 in TD for the biggest increase in production of this year. He's been a top experienced dealer in the entire company for the last 4 years, and his best summer is over $30,000 in profit. The one and only Ben Bressler. Kick us off, Ben, with kids' books.
All right. If we can go on to that slide there. Awesome. So yes, I am excited to talk to y'all about the kids' books. This is super cool because the kinds of books that we sell are not really offered in stores. We just sell something super unique that actually grows with kids. And it's an entire library, which is super fun. And what I want to do is explain to you the different parts of the entire library, starting with the My Books and the My Fun with Words called the My Set. It's 6 books that cover all the sight words, that everything from shapes, colors, numbers, and words in English and in Spanish, which is super cool because they are bilingual. And what they do is they actually help kids learn their sight words exactly the way that they understand information, just by finding it like a game, which is super cool. And they're super colorful and they're fun, and they come with posters. So up next, we have here, Elizabeth, if we can go to the next slide here. Not sure exactly how to do this. There you go. Oh, the Ask Me's, yes. So this is really fun because at this stage, this is for about maybe the kindergarten, first grade level. Oh, let's go back here real quick. There we go. This is the phase that kids are in where they ask a trillion questions all the time. And this summer, you're going to know so much stuff about things you didn't ever think you would. You're going to be able to answer these philosophical questions like, why is the flamingo pink? Or what's a rhino's horn made of? Did you know that there's a snake that can fly or a lizard that can run on water? You know, such important questions that kids are actually learning about. And these books, they cover well over 1,000 fun facts, and they come with 100 stickers, mama-proof stickers, because they're not the ones that you have to use the fork to scrape off the wall. They're the easy peel plastic kind. And everybody loves those. And there's little activity books to put them into. Awesome. All right, up next we have the Explore and Learn. So this is a series of 6 children's encyclopedias that go a little bit more in depth. So it's that for that 2nd, 3rd grade level. And what's really cool about these is they're meant to be totally interactive. They have over 100 projects to do. It's kind of like your cheat sheet to the science fair project. I wish I had one of those. And they also have 100 stories to read from cultures from all over the world as they cover school-age topics for that 2nd, 3rd grade level. And they also come with posters. Now, in order from least coolest to coolest, although they're all pretty sweet, I would say that in 3rd place is the map of the world. In 2nd place is the glow-in-the-dark poster of the constellations. And in 1st place, my bad, is the life-size poster of the human body. So that's pretty sweet. Just saying. I'm sure y'all are jealous. All right, the next slide, please. Awesome. So now this is a bit of a specialty type product, which is super cool that we sell. It is the Family Bible Library and also the Biblical World Atlas. So separately speaking, of course, although they do make up the library here, the FBL, Family Bible Library, is 8 books that cover the Old Testament and New Testament. They have daily devotionals, and essentially is a 365-day curriculum that covers the 36 building blocks of character shared through stories straight from the Bible. Now, what's cool about these and what I really appreciate about these is that they are trans-denominational, so it does not impede on anyone's religious belief. In fact, actually, I had 2 different churches from 2 different summers actually buy these for me. That was awesome. And it's really cool. And so that way it doesn't impede on any religious beliefs, but it also gives parents that structure to be able to come up with those lessons, especially through a parent guide that comes with it. And the Biblical World Atlas is a really cool book. It's an awesome coffee table book that isn't just for families. You know, a grandparent could definitely pick this up, but it just has really cool illustrations, maps, well over 500 pages of all just really cool content about the biblical world. That's all I got for you guys.
Awesome. Isn't he really a flamethrower? I think he is. So they say that we have products literally from diapers to diplomas, and there is never enough of Ray Flores. So I'm going to introduce her again. She's a 5th year book girl. She's a proud UC Davis grad, and she's a top experience dealer last summer, multiple-time Growth Award winner, again, increasing more than $6,000 of profit year after year. Last summer, having more than $27,000 only personal sales profit. Let's go. She leads the massive SDSU campus. Bring us home, Ray Flores.
Woo! All right, cool. We're going to talk about my favorite product that we have, actually, which is the College Entrance Advantage. So it's my favorite because it was something that I was genuinely jealous of when I found out about it. I did not study for my SAT going into college. Actually found out I missed a scholarship by like 20 points. So I was really smart, but like not that smart. So this is awesome. It is basically an entire college package. And we partner up with the Princeton Review for it. That's something that you should advertise a ton because the Princeton Review is one of the top college prep companies in the nation. So our system here, it's designed to be basically like a one-stop shop for prepping for college. And it's really cool because it's actually a self-paced system that you can do at home. You can spend as much or as little time as you actually want on it. So when you start off, what you do is you actually take a practice test that is going to help you determine whether you're better suited at the SAT or the ACT. So that alone is pretty cool because most kids I know either take both of them or mostly just take one of the tests, just depending on whichever one is easiest or most available. But most colleges are actually going to accept both your SAT and your ACT score. So to be smart, you'd actually want to take the test that you are better at. So that's what that first test does. It's a little bit of a self-diagnosis. Then once you get your results for that test back, then you're actually going to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And it's going to tell you where to work in this 1,400-page manual. It looks a lot like those phone book practice books that you'll see people do, like SAT for Dummies. But honestly, I've only ever known like one or two really nerdy kids to actually use them because it's so overwhelming. There's a ton in it. So with our book, instead of working through the whole thing, the test is going to tell you exactly what pages to go to, so you can like actually spend your time efficiently and effectively. And let's see what else. Then from there, the pages in the book are going to correlate to really short 3 to 5 minute videos. So online tutors with the Princeton Review. They're going to work with either the discs here if you're old school or with an online access code. And those are designed to just keep kids' attention. So it's not designed to be like an hour-long lecture on the SAT, just like 3 or 5 minutes whenever you can spare it. All right, and then it's also going to include sample essays for what your essay should look like and different rubrics so that you can help you pass those exams, like showing you what a bad essay is, what a good essay is, and what a really great essay is. So far it's already great. And then it's also going to include everything on college scholarships, financial aid, and the whole admissions process, all in like a webinar format as well. So all in these discs here, along with the online access code, are going to include that. So that's also going to have a scholarship search where you literally just kind of punch in all of your info, and then it's going to help you find all the scholarships that you would be eligible for. Super, super amazing. So the stats on this product are awesome. 96% of students who use it score better on their test the next time they take it. And for kids who do use it, it actually saves about $7,500 in scholarships and financial aid. That alone is insane. You know, the cost of the product is way, 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 way less than that compared to saving that much in college. And also 4 out of 5 kids who use it get into their top school of choice. So I believe that is all with the, oh yeah, and it's got a really cute little roadmap to college, like a poster. You hang it up on your wall, trace the steps, make sure that you're checking off all the boxes so that you don't miss anything in your journey to college. Pretty simple.
Awesome. I personally love CEA, and also CEA, or Princeton Review, co-founder, sold books with Southwestern when he was in college, Paul Kenrick. So we're proud of our alums all over the world. By the way, we're going to have a great alumni speaker soon, so stay tuned to this one. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring us home with the system that we sell, because we don't sell books or the websites or the apps. We sell them together as a system. Just like Heather was mentioning before, it's exactly what we do. When you buy an iPhone, when you buy a Samsung phone, you buy it with a little SIM card inside that brings a lot more possibilities and the whole new world into this. That's what our online system actually does. As you can see here on a slide, we have 6 websites and 4 apps working under one umbrella all together, covering kids literally from preschoolers and toddlers and covering all the way stuff through parenting. So Squids is the first one shown here. It basically gives kids a lot of interactive lessons, connect the dots, lots of videos, games. Right now, the new thing that they got is augmented reality, where the kid can actually scan the book of Ask Me's with the phone, and they can see a giraffe or a monkey pop up and speak to them about, are your bones bendy, or can astronauts see me from the sky, and so on and so on and so on. So it's really cool. It's designed to help kids not only develop academically, but also as a human, teaching them a lot of stuff about honesty and gratitude and so on and so on. Now, Homer is our partner website and the app. It's #1 in the US Learn to Read program. It's a proven fact. There's been a lot of studies done that Homer increases kids' learning proficiency by 74% at least. imagine when the moms are hearing that and when they're experiencing how kids can actually record themselves on how they read and they can hear themselves read, how awesome that feels. And then we move on to Advantage for Kids website, which is designed for kids from 2nd grade to all the way to 6th grade. What's awesome about Advantage for Kids is that it's jam-packed with a lot of content for reading, social studies, and language, and math. It's a lot of games which are made in a very, very simple and cool format that the kids love to play. And it's also jam-packed with more than 100 National Geographic Kids ebooks that kids of course like and parents of course know and recognize, which is really, really awesome. Moving on next, it's our Advantage for Teens website, which is our academical helper, which is 24/7 tutor at home that helps kids solve any kinds of problems, has videos, of the tutors where the kids can punch in any page number from the books and they can actually see the video of a teacher solving the problem for them and helping them basically how to do this program and the problem. So what's really awesome about that part as well is that the kids can actually have an access to the worksheets and quizzes and puzzles and crosswords. I'm sorry. And yes, please. And a lot more material here. Moving on. Advantage for Life is designed for our high schoolers and late middle schoolers. What's awesome about Advantage for Life is that it basically gives kids a lot of life lessons on something that they're sometimes uncomfortable talking to parents about, dating, how to break up with a bad friend, and also, you know, for a lot of parents, it's hard to be a prophet in their own land. So it's really awesome about Advantage for Life. It's kind of like their buddy talking to them on why, let's say, drinking is bad, or why going for college is awesome, or why good habits are really important, kind of like Blue Up and Red Up decisions for high schoolers. And then the last but definitely not the least is our parenting website, where we have more than 100,000 of parents using this as a system with a lot of advice on financial stuff from Dave Ramsey and his daughter Rachel Cruz, a lot of stuff for the little kids, from child pathologists, child psychologists, and nutritionists. So it's a jam-packed family of websites right here. And if I can share my screen real quick, I will show you where you can actually get more and more and more knowledge on the products that we've been just talking about. As you guys all know, you have access to this Advantage for Dealers website. So if you jump on this website, at any time you can go to this Media Resource Center, which if you scroll down here in this Media Resource Center, you will see a lot of product deep dive videos with Janet Sweet, our curriculum director, and a lot of product knowledge videos in general, some seminar stuff and so on. Also, to check how well you're aware of what we sell and how we actually do it, you can jump to Advantage University. Y'all are required actually to finish it up before you go to virtual sales school. So it's fun lessons. There is 13 sections, pretty much on anything from cycle of selling, all the way how to set up your Facebook business page, how to sell websites, books, and run your own business. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, it took a little while for us to get on the screen, but how cool was that, guys? That is so awesome. I'm not sure about you guys, but it definitely makes me excited about what we're doing this summer. Just going back to what Ben was saying about the kids book, did you guys know flamingos are pink because they eat pink shrimp? So if you guys didn't know that, you'll get to learn some cool things from the kids books. So that's pretty awesome. But now I'm actually going to introduce Ryan Davis. So Ryan Davis is an 8-year bookman and now is the Director of Marketing and Sales Development in our student program and is in charge of our training at Standard Sales School. So take it on, Ryan.
Thanks so much, Liz. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Great, I assume. Okay. So happy you guys had me on here. Thank you for having me. I am, as Liz was saying, I'm a proud TD alumnus. I sold for 8 years with TD, and I'm excited to share with you this opportunity. You guys feeling good? Are we hanging in there? I hope so. I got some good stuff I'm excited about, and I want you guys to be excited about it. We're going to finish this thing strong. It's going to be awesome. So to kind of set this up and give you a little bit of background, as we know that Southwestern has a 150-year history of leadership development for young people, for mostly college age and recent graduates. This is a very, very, very cool opportunity that we are starting this year, where we are making a leadership development service available for high school students too. And it's a new service that we are going to provide to the public through TD. It's super cool. Dan Moore is our president of Southwestern, and he has given TD the ability and the opportunity to kind of pioneer this whole service that we're making available to people. So this is something I think you guys will resonate with you a lot, and will be something that I think you guys will see a lot of value in and get excited to about the idea of sharing it with the people you're going to talk to this summer. It's pretty cool. To kind of give you a little bit of an idea too, and a little bit of maybe some context about this, if you look at our company of Southwestern Advantage, there's probably around 20 different organizations. TD is a sales organization within the company, right? There's about maybe 20 different organizations all throughout the US and all throughout Europe, everywhere. So to kind of give you an analogy, it would be kind of like if Major League Soccer, for instance, said, okay, we got all these different teams, but this season, Team TD, you guys get to use your hands and you get to run and carry the ball. Everyone else, same rules. That would be a really unfair advantage, right? TD would be like, oh man, we're going to score a lot of points. But that's the idea. Southwestern Advantage lead this summer is TD's unfair advantage for the rest of the company. I'm so excited about this. Let's get into it. What is this thing? Why is it so cool? Let's check it out. Let's go to the next slide here. Back up 1 or 2 or 3. Other direction. There it is. There we are. Landed on it. There. Okay. So Southwestern Advantage Lead is a 6-month leadership training service for high school students, 9th through 12th grade. This service that you can make available for them, it's something that we are selling, obviously. So we're calling it a service because it's not a tangible product like a book would be. This is a service that you can sell that they can join, all right? It's a 6-month deal, and it's for high school students. The LEAD is an acronym. So the L talks about life skills, and it teaches life skills for students, and you should understand the value of those. That's what Southwestern is about, is teaching applicable life skills for your future. The E is the emotional intelligence part, and the A is academics, which we have some amazing products for academics, and the D is the opportunity to make a difference or have an impact on someone in your life or in your community, which is pretty cool. All right, let's see what's next. So here's what the client would receive. Some of you are familiar with the idea of a passion planner and what those are. It's a great way for a high schooler to stay organized. Some of you use them yourself, maybe. It promotes being on a great schedule, staying organized, managing your time very well, having a great attitude, and some of our life skills that we're going to be talking about tie in very well with that. So they get one of those. They get a DISC assessment. Some of you have maybe even taken a DISC assessment before, but it is a super deep dive into a personality assessment that helps an individual understand more about themselves and how they tick and how we're wired, and helping other people also helping them understand that people around them are wired differently, and sometimes you have to understand a little bit about yourself and how other people are a little bit more unique, so you can better communicate with them too. So it's great for high school students to be able to really understand kind of how they tick in a way, because you have to learn about yourself before you can learn about how learn to lead yourself before you learn to lead others, right? Now, the other part that they get is what Tim was just explaining on our websites. They get full access to our Southwestern Advantage online membership, which is our family of websites and apps. So say, for instance, like we're just describing that they're a high school student and they're stuck on a really tough algebra question. It's number 33 on the assignment, and it's 10:30 at night, and they're exhausted from a long day. They just want to get some sleep, and now they're frustrated staring at this question on their assignment. With access to the websites and the apps, they can go on there and they can pull up a video example. It's like a virtual tutor that walks them through step by step exactly how that's done. You understand it, you get some rest, you go to bed, you ace your quiz the next day. Pretty sweet. And it does that with all their core subjects. We're going to be holding monthly webinars too. These are going to be exclusive webinars that are going to be for the clients and for the members of LEAD that talks about life skills and how to apply them immediately, which is going to be super cool. And then for all the families who sign up for this service, we're going to be you are going to be doing some very light monthly check-ins just to make sure that they're getting the full benefit from their service and having a great experience with it. You'll ask them a couple questions like, what are you learning about yourself? Like, you took that DISC assessment. What did you learn about you? We just had a webinar recently on communication skills. Have you been applying that stuff? Super cool stuff, right? Let's jump to the next thing. So some life skill stuff that we're going to be talking about. There it is. Some of the life skills things. These are a few of the topics that we will cover, but there's going to be so much more that we're going to dive into. But it's simple stuff like financial smarts for students, how to set a SMART goal, breaking that down, beginning with the end in mind and taking your big goal, breaking it down like we teach here, how to crystallize your goals and put it into daily activity that's measurable and to focus on your effort instead of the results. Talking about vision and doing vision boards. Some of you guys have done vision boards for your summer and what you want this year to look like ahead. We're going to go through some activities and do some of that stuff with high schoolers too. Super fun. Attitude topics, problem solving skills, people skills, how to make great first impressions, how to be memorable, how to be effective in front of a group. All kinds of very, very incredible stuff that is so applicable to a high school student that's going to be really helpful for their future. Let's see what's next. So that's the L portion. The E portion, we hit on that earlier. That's the DISC personality assessment, where it's going to take a deep dive into them, helping them learn all about themselves. And that's going to give them some great perspective for all of the content that comes in the months ahead while they're in LEAD. Let's keep moving. There we go, the academic skills. So we got Advantage for Teens. You guys were just learning about these sites, the SW Advantage online suite of sites. So we talked a little bit about that. There's also AdvantageTopicSource.com, which is a site that we're going to want to give them access to as well. And that is for all of their reports and papers. It covers the 60 most common reports and papers that students have to write. And it's a resource for them to use specifically for writing research papers and reports. Super cool stuff. Now, if you remember, on the websites, there's the ones for a little bit of the older students, like the high school age. And then we have websites for the younger kids too, right? Squids, Homer's Learn to Read website, Advantage for Kids. This stuff is for like elementary kids down to preschool kids. So if you're a high schooler, you're probably not going to be on that stuff very often, right? So with the difference in the impact portion, this is where a high school student who is in LEAD gets the chance to identify someone who they know. Maybe it's a family member or a community member or a friend of the family, somebody who may be in having some challenging circumstances, that their situation could be one that really benefits from having some free resources that are educational resources for their younger kids, to help them get prepared for school, to help them learn how to read, to help them with some of their basic foundational knowledge of some of their school subjects that they're working on. So I'm sure every single one of us could think immediately of at least one family who's in a tough spot right now that would really benefit from something that could help their younger kids excel academically. And so what the high schooler could then do, they can nominate a family that they feel like would appreciate something like this. So they nominate it to us, and then we have a program called Share the Advantage, where we have free access that we can give to families that have been identified as a family who is well deserving of something that we could donate a free access to our sites and apps. So super cool way to pay it forward. That's the whole idea, is when you're learning something and when you're gaining something as an individual, you want to pay that forward to other people to make a difference and have an impact on people who are important to you and to your community. And so that's the idea that we want to do that too. Cool. So that's kind of the idea of it. Let's see what's in it for you, right? How's the money work? Other than the cool experience of getting to help young people develop their own leadership skills, how's the financial part of this whole look for you? So let's check this out. To give you an idea, the price a family would pay, again, is $99 a month. So very, very, very affordable, right? Families spend way, way more than $99 a month on their kids. I guarantee you that. So this is a very, very affordable price for a very small investment for a family. And it's for 6 months. It's like, what? Why not? Let's give it a try and see, see how this goes. So $99 a month, 6 months, your profit, it works out to be $45 a month. So you would make $270 over the course of that 6 months for every family that was in it. And the unit value is 36. So I'll get you in the sell a few of those, get you in the Pace Setter report up in the Superstar book. The profit potential, what's possible this year ahead of us? Let's give an example. 12 selling weeks or 72 total days if you combine the virtual and the in-person sales. So let's see a couple examples of what it looks like if you're selling lead services this year. If you had 2 families per week in the weeks ahead sign up for this, you would add close to $6,500 in profit to yourself and your business this summer. Pretty cool. If you had 3, one every other day, that signed up for this, you would add close to $10,000 to yourself and your business this summer. If you really went after it and you got 1 per day, then you're adding over $19,000 to yourself and your business this summer. And if you had, I think the next one is 2 per day. Yes, over $38,000. So if you can picture yourself talking to high school families and explaining to them the value of leadership development and doing something that seems like a really cool program where they can learn and gain some pretty neat skills, and it's only $99 a month for the fall semester. You do that twice a day, that's what you're going to be adding to yourself and your business this year. Now, that's all in addition to any books that you're selling this summer in the meantime. And then at the end of the fall semester, if you're doing a great job, which you will be doing in checking in with the people who are in lead and making sure they're having a great experience, a lot of families are going to have a great experience and they're going to want to renew for a spring semester version of it. So if they do that, then your residual income for lead would continue. Pretty cool, exciting opportunity for you, right? So what would be the expectations for you guys who be the salespeople for lead? Well, we have monthly check-ins, and we're going to teach you all about just some simple account maintenance and just kind of keeping that conversation going. Because when you think about a transaction or a simple sale, it's kind of like you sell the product and you probably don't anticipate keeping in touch with people, right? But when you think about a service, what comes to mind is probably staying in touch with people and having ongoing communication with them. So that's going to be a little bit what this is about, is staying in touch with the people who have purchased lead to make sure that they're aware of the things that are upcoming, like the webinars, and to see the things that they're gaining from it and get some feedback from them. It's going to be pretty cool. You're going to like doing that because it's going to be people you connect well with. And then in winter break, you can then sign people up for a spring semester who have enjoyed their fall semester service to get you some more residuals. And then we're having an Advantage Academy coaching, which is like performance coaching tailored specifically to an individual in high school, which is kind of a next level of personalized performance coaching that a lead family or a lead student or participant could kind of graduate into a one-on-one coaching program with a personal certified coach from Southwestern that would guide them through modules and goal achievement exercises and everything. So for the idea of with a family, if they're going through a lead or if their student is going through a lead and they want to graduate into the one-on-one performance coaching program, that would then become someone else's coaching client, but you would be compensated for doing such a great job encouraging them to develop their leadership skills, that they really enjoy the idea of developing themselves as a leader, and they want to go into a one-on-one coaching program with our partners at Southwestern Coaching. And when you have a client that graduates into that, you get rewarded for it too. It's a pretty cool thing. So that's just an overview. We're gonna have a lot more details and a lot more information coming out for you soon. I just want to make you aware of it right now and to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of it. And you're gonna learn a ton more about it in the days and weeks ahead in virtual sales school. And it's gonna be a fantastic opportunity. I'm so excited that TD is the one that gets to pioneer this whole thing. It's going to be super cool. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Liz. Thanks so much.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Ryan. Here's just a picture of Christian and one of the clients. That is so cool. That is one of the alumni, if I'm not mistaken. But that is so awesome. Just going back to the lead, how cool is that? Who doesn't like to earn extra money and extra units, right? You know, we're providing a service to high schoolers. How cool is that? Why couldn't we have that when we were in high school, right? But I actually have the honor to introduce Ryan, Azus, and Kelly O'Connor. So I'm going to make sure I look at my notes because I do not want to miss anything from these amazing people. So Ryan and Kelly are proud alumni of the Power Division.
Hey, Liz.
Yes.
Hey, can we take a quick 10-minute break so that Ryan and Kelly can log in with us because we are a little ahead of schedule?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Does that sound pretty good? 5 minutes?
Stand up, wiggle around. We'll be back in 10.
Yes, we should see you guys at 3:34 Mountain Time. So go ahead and take another pee break, please. Thank you.
Hello? Hello, I can't hear you though.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How
We're the
does
only ones here.
that's fine. How did my background look? Fine enough?
Yeah, man, I'll be hearing you. We can all hear. Heather, we can't hear you. Is the other panelist though?
Yeah, well, everybody's on. We got about 170 participants currently, but we took a break because we were oddly ahead of schedule to
Awesome.
let y'all hop on. So I believe Elizabeth, our MC, think we've got like 2 minutes, but Elizabeth, if you want to start getting the PowerPoint set back up, and then we can get Ryan and Kelly introed. And thank you guys so much for being here and being flexible with our little time adjustment.
Awesome.
Heather,
No
thank
problem.
you. Will I be able to see other people at some point?
No.
Just
Just
so
us.
okay.
Yes, it is a seminar, so unfortunately we cannot see everyone else, but they could definitely see you, Kelly.
So when I talk, they see me. I got it. It's just a little different
Yes,
color.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So whoever is currently talking will appear on the main screen of their computer or their phone. So that's the pretty neat part about that. But yes, thank you so much, Kelly and Ryan, for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and give one more minute for everyone to kind of hop on, and we shall begin shortly.
No problem. We're here.
I should have tested my camera, but my background looks fine, right? It's fine.
Kelly, I can all hear you. Just
What a beautiful picture.
All right, Elizabeth, if you want to go ahead and just kick us back
wow.
off, I think we're probably good to go.
Sounds good. All right, well, welcome back everyone from your pee break. Just a little update. We just finished talking about Lead with Ryan Davis, so that was pretty awesome to get to know the new product we're going to be offering as our service in the summer. So now I'm going to take a couple minutes and introduce Kelly O'Connor and Ryan Azus. So it's definitely an honor to introduce you guys, so thank you so much for hopping on. So I'm going to use my notes. Like I said earlier, I do not want to miss any of these important details because these are amazing folks that we have here today. So Ryan and Kelly are proud alumni of the Power Division. They sold in the early to mid 90s, back when a superset, also known as everything in the bag, was just 50 units. So back when they called in their stats on a payphone, and back when without GPS locators of any kind, they got lost a lot. Using archaic techniques such as book of maps and asking for directions. How neat. So Ryan Azus attended Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and was the #1 rookie for California his first summer with 3,600 units. He sold 5 summers, and with his top year landing him on the front page of the Superstar book of 9,000 units. Ryan also earned his I Want to Win Finish Award 4 years of his 5 summers, and TMBA Award for all 5 years. Wow. So also, Kelly is an alumni of Stanford University and was also the #1 rookie for California her first summer, as well as 5th overall for rookies that year with 4,200 plus units. Kelly earned her Gold Seal Gold Award each of her 5 summers for working more than 80 hours each week all summer, with a top summer of 6,800 units. I love these units. Kelly's senior year at Stanford, she recruited a top team, bringing 9 students to sales school. That is amazing. Kelly translated her success with Southwestern into a successful enterprise sales career in the tech industry, working at both WebEx and Apple Computer. She semi-retired over 10 years ago to raise their 3 book kids to be and to have enough time to probably set up a top shelf HQ capable of housing 9+ students. Wow. They are also known as the renovated their basement. That is so fun. Ryan is currently the Chief Revenue Officer of Zoom Video Communications, which is what we're using for those who don't know. Zoom is a public company with revenues in excess of $600 million annually and a global workforce of 3,000+ employees. Prior to Zoom, Ryan was the head of sales and services at RingCentral. In his 10 years there, he helped grow their revenue from near zero at the start to their current revenue of almost $1 billion. Ryan started his tech career at the web conferencing company WebEx. He was with WebEx from their pre-IPO startup days through their acquisition by Cisco in 2006. They currently live in San Jose, California with their 3 lovely kids and still love to answer the door whenever they hear a cold knock. Secretly judging the approach, but also offering a warm smile and an attaboy to whoever is brave enough to enroll in the School of Hard Knocks. So give it up for Kelly and Ryan. Thank you so much.
Welcome. People sound impressive. I'm not sure who they are, but yes, we're here. Kelly, you want to start?
It's over.
Do I though, Ryan? Do I?
Sure.
All right. Okay. I will start, and I just wanted to say to Elizabeth or Heather, is this Elizabeth? Feel free to ask any questions and direct me in one way or the other if you just want to, if you feel that there's something else I can add or help with. But I wrote some notes. We were asked to just talk about what this has meant to us sort of long term, sort of it's been over 20 years since we've sold. And that's an easier topic than trying to remember exactly how I did whatever I did all those years ago. So I broke it into 3 parts that I wanted to kind of share. And this is a part of me. This is sort of in me. It's in me deep. So the first thing I wanted to talk about that I feel is it's with me is what I call my inner story, my personal benefit. That is, when I started selling books, I was sort of very driven, a little hard, maybe too hard on myself, and basically in selling books, it sort of taught me to embrace what was good about me, and I found a way to just sort of lean into what was good. And I don't know, I mean, there's a lot about books that was hard. I was sort of constantly very, very hard on myself. But ultimately watching other people be successful and having this sort of whole different group of people, saying, laugh more, do this, do that, and people that I really loved and respected over those many years, I think I found myself, and I found myself in a good place. And what I want to say about that is I feel like I got to do it a little sooner than other people. So maybe I sold for 5 summers. Now I'm 22, 23. I just feel like I learned this a little earlier than other people did. And I appreciate it because I carried it all the way through. And I feel like then as I moved on through life, I knew myself. I knew what I needed to do to be successful, how I could push myself, how I could also, lay back on myself a little bit, like, Kelly, you're doing all right. So that's this part of this inner story that I feel that books gave me that I don't think I would have learned so quickly. The second thing I want to talk about is, and I guess it's still part of it, is embracing your strengths and learning to be uncomfortable. Learning that young to be uncomfortable was sort of the ticket to me move with all the other things that I kept doing in my life. Oh, good. You're saying you love this. Okay, good. this is it. Is that I got good at being uncomfortable, and they made me do it, and they made me burn that cool card, and they made me learn to be uncomfortable. And so just like anything, you got a little better at it. And I would look back and I would just think, yeah, I did that next thing I did. And it wasn't always related to books, actually. It was sort of traveling or this is a silly one, but even speaking now, I haven't done this in a very long time. In fact, actually, I think I need to practice my muscles of being uncomfortable. But I got good at it, and I got in a place where being uncomfortable was sort of second nature to me. And I feel like that sort of drove me forward, even moving on from books. And whether it was traveling the world, which we did, or fall selling in Hawaii, which we did, and the adventures that came from that, or just, when I worked at Apple, I showed up my first day of work, and I was one of like 18 sales reps, and they were all men but me. And it was just a lot of macho-ness. And I said, I can do this, strap it on, and here we go. Okay. So this idea of being uncomfortable, and I think books just taught me how to do that. The second thing I want to say that I feel is so important to me is this privilege of knowing great people. So it's a ticket. Southwestern was a ticket, and you don't just get to be a part. You've got to earn your entrance. You've got to earn it. Once you earn it by being successful, doing the things that you get to do, and it's not sort of selling one summer and showing up and leaving early. I mean, it is like you're in. Then you get to meet these people also that are just exceptional. And I just wanted to mention, Ryan and I know this guy, Dan Jan, who he just ran for Congress, and he didn't win, but he almost did, let's say. And this other kid, Danny Wells, that's actually been on reality television shows, and he's just funny and smart. And so not only are these people just successful, like maybe how we know them in tech or people that we've worked with, but these people are just bold and odd. Actually, Dan Jan was in the Olympics, and they do these amazing things. And Dan was just in the Bay Area. He called us because we've sort of earned this ticket to hang out with these amazing people. And that gets to this part of when you are surrounding yourself with amazing people, you rise to that. You become that level. Surround yourself with amazing people, and you will rise to that level. And I feel I still am awed by these friends of mine that I love, and you guys and all my people that stayed at my house. I'm awed. So I feel it's a privilege. And then, and I was just saying, like Nat and Sunny and Akram and all the people that stayed at my house that I love. Okay. And then I guess the last thing I wanted to say is, is just this idea of this opportunity that I feel that as I've lived a longer life, I realize that opportunities don't always present themselves. I think when you're younger, you feel like they're coming at you a lot. Oh, a lot of exciting things. But as you get older, you sort of look back and you realize that because you only have so much time to commit to things, you're opening doors, but you're closing them. Let's say Southwestern, I gave it 5 years of my life and even more. And the idea is be aware that that opportunity is there for you now, and don't dismiss it, and you have to just respect it. That's all I mean. You're where you're at right now. You've chosen to do this, whether it's your second summer, third, fifth, first. Lean in, because it is an opportunity, and they don't come around all that often. And I think maybe looking back now, I sort of say, yeah, there's been a few opportunities in my life that have changed my life. Now I made them my opportunity. I made myself successful, but at the same time too, I got very lucky how I learned about Southwestern. So that's just it. Whether it's with Southwestern, your opportunity now, or just in life, recognize it, lean into that opportunity, and get the most out of it. You get it out what you put in. So, I don't know, ask me questions. I love this company and all of you.
All right. I'll jump in and then maybe we can both take some questions. So thanks, Kel. Couple different thoughts, first off, it's funny sitting here, I don't think of myself as that old, but when I'm listening to holy cow, how many years ago did they sell books? Is that 25, 27 years ago? Then you start feeling really old. But what has it meant to me, right? There's definitely, these lessons in life, and that's what, Southwestern is all about, right? It's about life lessons. And, things I took away, like breaking belief barriers. you know, without a doubt. And from the things we had to do to find housing, to persisting, to showing up in cities that you never lived in, for some of you countries you've never been to, and finding a way to make it home, get comfortable and get good at what you're doing. It's amazing. And you start realizing that, you know, a lot of the limits we put on ourselves is just that. They're limits in our own mind. They're limits that we put on ourselves. And, you know, the expansion of what's really possible. I even had I just had a experience even at Zoom. So this last quarter, you know, I switched to Zoom. I joined the company in August of last year after doing about 10 years of being at a pretty successful business. I had kind of helped grow from pretty much nothing to a pretty successful public company. And I left because I wanted an experience. Like, so this is next experience, probably better to say. And I'm definitely getting that experience. And even in this quarter, like where I thought, you know, I've opened my mind, there were some things that happened with COVID and everything going on in the news and the media, some of it good and some of it not so good, that it really put me in this mindset again. Even the last 2 months have kind of taught me the expansion of what's possible. It's not what you think it is. And you'll be surprised what people can do and also what happens at different times. The positive attitude, I mean, that's life 101. I don't care who you are, what you do. You got to believe to achieve. You got to have a positive attitude. It's funny, I sit in the spa now with my daughter. She's in junior high, and you know, when she starts complaining, it's like I pull out, you know, let's talk about some of these stories. I tell her about the, you know, Morelli and the two twins and one slinging it and what's happening, what's going on, and just, you know, how one kid's finding it, right, and the other kid's not. And she understands the story. She rolls her eyes at me, but I think a positive attitude is like really like point one of being a successful person in life. You know, the person you want to be, you know, some of you on this call have sold books for many summer years. Some of you, I think, are newer to it or about to do it. You're going to learn a lot about the person you want to be. And that's because you meet a lot of people, right? And then you're going to meet them online at first, hopefully face to face for some of you as the summer goes on. But the stereotypes, the social classes, the kind of houses, like you're going to just have a different experience. And a lot of that comes from the people you meet. Because when you're growing up, you know your town, your city, you might be pretty social and know all the people above you and down below one grade. But when you sell books, you really get to know a whole town. You get to know people in a different level, in a different way. And those aren't the same social economic people that you're used to being with wherever you come from, or that are from your town, your city, that type of stuff. Friends is another variable there. And like nobody, or maybe nobody, I didn't go to sell books to get friends. And if you look back 20 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years almost, knock on wood later, look at the people that you're on this call with. These are your friends. And trust me, I was someone that was very social in school. I did lots of activities. I had all kinds of friends. But somehow over the years, the people you sold books with, they're people like Kelly said, like Dan Jan calling you up. You've made some great lifetime friends, and you don't have to see each other. You don't have to hang out all the time. You can see each other once a year. It could be every couple of years, but there's just something about this age, and honestly, something about doing something that's honestly hard and doing it together and overcoming it and, you know, winning as a team, that, you know, there's something forged in you that it's like you can see people 10 years later and you can be great friends. And even today we think about people we socialize with and people we do stuff with, and there's a lot of great friends. And, you know, you peel back, where do we get to know them? How do we meet? And it was those summers of book selling. And it's crazy, of all the things and all the businesses and groups and environments I've been in, how long those friendships have stayed and how long they've endured. And maybe even more than friendships, you know, I'm definitely Kelly and myself. You know, I know Aaron and Tim and other things like that too. So, and then, you know, work ethic. And that's like in life, you have to earn it. And it's freaking hard to sell books. Like if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, like, that's the truth. There's definitely some mornings I wake up and I'm like, oh, glad I'm not doing that today. But I wake up and I work hard now. And, you know, life is a lot of hard work. And you got to enjoy what you're doing, but learning to put your effort and your attitude and your mind into something and overcoming it and knowing you can do that is like one of the most awesome feelings in the world. And, you know, even today, and honestly, anything that's worth getting, like, it's hard. Like anything that comes easy to you and you don't have to work for it or it's not challenging, let's be honest, when you get it, it's not that exciting. And so being able to put your heart, your head into something is so awesome. And then I think, the other piece is just experience at a younger age. And what I mean by that is the experience of leadership. And that's especially if you come back, especially selling once is one thing, selling twice is another, and coming back as a student manager, it's a whole different level of experience. And, when I was doing it, I was, like many of you, we were 18 and 19 and 20 and 21, and you're 20 years old and you're leading a group and you're helping 30 people and you're worrying about them and you're not worrying about yourself. And you're driving their success and you're making plans. And of course, you're doing everything for yourself, but you're also doing it for them. And there's life lessons and experience and leadership stuff that I felt I got to get out of Southwestern at an age that, had I done other jobs, other roles, honestly, wouldn't have been anything like that. And so these are things that, I've been able to take with me into the work world. And, between a lot of the same things, having a good attitude, having an open mind, putting extreme work ethic into it, and been able to been pretty lucky and pretty successful in doing those types of things. And even now, it's funny, these Southwestern things stay with me, and there's probably a couple too that I'll leave. One of them is moments of discipline. And that's like a lesson that I kind of got in the book field, is from someone else, actually, a guy named Steve Elliott. And that's just that, like, doing things isn't hard. It's that one moment. Like, when maybe, it's that cold shower in the morning. It's that getting out of bed. It's that, hitting that getting out versus snooze button. It's that, so you don't have to be disciplined all day. You just have to be disciplined for those moments. And that's already sometimes hard to do in the book field. And honestly, probably doing it remotely in some of the normal comforts and confines that you have, it's going to take extra discipline to be successful. It's going to take extra discipline to be successful at the start of the summer. And so don't think of like, oh my gosh, I have to be the king of discipline. Think about, like, for the next 30 seconds, I just have to, pick up the phone. I have to send that note. In the real world, I have to knock on that door. I have to approach that person. That's all. Once you start doing it, you know what to do. Your body knows what to do. It's easy to do. It's just that one moment where maybe you're concerned or scared or nervous. You just got to overcome it, and the rest will take care of itself. And then the other one is just, and it's funny because you're at the beginning, so even to talk about this, but just finishing strong. And it's like, gosh, like I think about myself now, like, it'll be, we just had quarter end actually this week on Thursday, and it was our quarter end. And, you're thinking about, like, and I want to win finish. You're thinking about finishing strong. And it's funny, Tom Courtney's words as he's crossing through that thing and listening to Mortley and some of these guys tell the story. I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. And that concept, and that's whether I'm like, trying to play basketball with one of my kids who luckily I can still beat, but probably not for long, and bullying him into, like, you better finish strong or whatever it might be. Finishing strong is something that no matter what you're doing in life, like, I'd like to, if I start something, I like to finish it, and then not just finish it, but finish it well. And I really, we all go sell books for different reasons. We all have our own things for doing it. But whatever that reason or reasons are, I can 100% promise you, if you just do it with your whole heart, if you stick your mind, your body, your energy into it, you're going to walk out of it with more than you would have ever expected. And it rewards you. And yes, you can make some money, and yes, you'll make some friends. And yes, normally when you can get out in the book field live, you'll have some experiences and you'll be to places you've never been. But I can guarantee whatever you think you're going for, you're going to get a lot more than that. And that's a good thing. That's experience that looking in life, you thought those checks were big or you thought that was success. There's a lot more ahead that you almost look back and you laugh, but it's the lessons that you got there. And yeah, maybe you could get it somewhere else, but it's such a condensed time of just like, kind of like a diamond, there's heat. You got to be molded. And it definitely happens that, at least for me, these are things that have stayed with me, so many, it seems like now, years later. So Anyway, definitely that's resume, more than resume experience. Yes, for sure, Elizabeth. I've seen your notes. I've done it's an internship, and you go to Morgan Stanley. It sounds sexy. I'm in finance. I'm going to do this. It's like you're filing papers. Like, it's not sexy, let me tell you. Like, I did some of that stuff during the school year, and I was like, really? This is what we do? This isn't sexy. Like, and I know knocking on doors or at least selling over video. Well, selling over video sounds pretty sexy, let's be honest. But I know at least knocking on doors doesn't. But if you start like thinking about those things, it doesn't sound sexy, but I guarantee it's going to make you a better person. And that's kind of what life's about. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Thank you for having us. Thank you for using Zoom, very exciting. This is my first meeting. No, I'm just kidding. About 12 a day only. So are there any, I don't know if there's any questions or if you want to close this off, Elizabeth, either way, we're here depending what you want.
Yes, so there's a Q&A. I'm sure we'll be able to see those questions in a little bit. I can't personally see that yet, but I just want to personally thank both of you for just being on this call and just giving us so much perspective and words of wisdom. So I want to start off and say thank you, Kelly, for your just being vulnerable. I know I shed a little tear. That's why I kind of got off video, because it's just so inspiring when we're all able to connect and share those personal stories. Because like we say, every day is a new day on the book field, and every summer is just so unique to each one of us individually, like what we go through, what we gain, why we do it, what we're getting from it. So the fact that you were able to share your experience is just amazing, and we all loved it. I know especially the girls, but definitely the men as well. But yes, thank you so much for making me shed a tear there, Kelly. And Ryan, thank you. Yes, mission accomplished.
Sign here.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. And yes, Ryan, you too. You're making us feel more sexy for being book kids. So thank you. Yeah, like I said, you're giving us so much perspective and just that reassurance that, what we're doing is so much more than what we say, just selling books. And the fact that you guys understand that because you did it and giving us that reassurance that, yeah, just keep going. Like, this section in our life is so minimal compared to the entire, literally the rest of our lives. The impact that it has. That's what you guys brought to me, at least, to say it's like, just go for it. Like, you're so young, like we're so young. We're just gonna be so proud of that we got to do this. Not everyone gets to do this, and it's awesome that you guys were able to speak upon that. So thank you so much. I'm not sure if anyone else has anything to say, but thank you. It was an honor to just hear you guys talk about everything.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Elizabeth, do you want me to read these questions or no? Should we?
Yeah, if it pertains to you guys, go for it.
Well, there's someone that's asking me if it's still a good idea to do this internship with COVID. Hopefully you heard that one. Yes, and it's going to be different. Let's just be realistic, right? Like, I was talking to Dan Moore actually about a couple of days ago about something, and one of the greatest men in the history of the world, and it is going to be different, right? And in the Southwestern way, we find a way and we make it happen. And I know that's wholly for part of the summer versus all of the summer, depending on geography and other things. But even that, like, Southwestern is going to break belief barriers. There's people that are going to go out and have probably better summers than they would have had. Just because, why? Because that's what you need to do. You have to adapt. You have to adjust. There's somebody else, how do you deal with feelings going into summer, in that second summer? The range of emotions I feel are doubt, confidence, doubt, fear, confidence, assurance, all that. Let's be clear. Your second summer is probably the hardest one to go into. Your first summer, you're like, okay, what is this? I don't know. You go do it. And, I call it, like, take the analogy the right way, but like your second summer, you get hair on your chest. It's one thing to do it when you don't know. It's another when you do know, and you come back and you go ahead and do that. And, the easiest way to have an awesome second summer is just don't worry about yourself. Think about your teammates. Think about the first years. Think about how you can help them be successful. And I guarantee, by trying to lead by example, set a good example, and really focusing on helping others, your summer will go quicker than you could ever imagine, and you'll be more successful than you'd ever imagine.
Awesome. Yes, I'm going in for my second summer, so you make me a little excited to grow hair on my chest.
Well, maybe not there.
Thank you so much, Ryan and Kelly. Like I said, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and share my screen and show your picture one more time. But thank you so much. I hope you guys.
All right. Take care, everybody.
All right, you guys, go do well. Go be awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
All right. How cool was that. That is so awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead and introduce Tyler and Alex Berman. So if I could just get that screen up there. Awesome. So they were both top first years in Georgia in 2018. Though Alex beat Tyler, becoming the #1 rookie in TD in the last few years, profiting over $20K her first summer. Both are coming up on their third year in Southwestern. And Alex is a graduate of the University of Arizona and is a former track athlete running the 800. Woohoo! Tyler is from Vegas and is ripped and shredded. Both have cool tattoos and made over $20K their last summer. Alex is slightly edging Tyler again and making a little bit more. So take it over, Alex and Tyler.
Video.
Ooh, hopefully y'all can see me and Tyler.
Video.
Can you guys hear and see me? Okay, cool. Tough act to follow, but definitely saving the best for last. And we're going to keep this pretty short and concise, so bear with us. But Tyler and I actually have the pleasure of talking to you guys about what all first years and what all top producers and top first years have in common. So Tyler, why are we doing this part?
I don't know. I was thinking back to my first summer. There was this girl that always, kept beating me every week.
Yeah, I think that was me, but you were a top first year too, right?
Yeah, I was, but not anywhere close to her. She was good. That was you?
Yeah, that was me. So we're going to actually talk about all the right things to do, and I'm going to actually let Tyler go ahead and take this whole first half.
Heck yeah. So y'all want to be a top producer, top first year. We know how to help get you there. So first off, what me and Alex both have is a desire to win. We have the heart. We are in it to win it. A big thing with that is having confidence in yourself. Okay, you got to believe first. This is the very first and most important thing. You have to believe that you can do it. Okay, the law of attraction, right? Understand that. And understand it's a process, the law of the process. Okay, so things don't happen overnight. Just like think about working out and going to the gym. You don't just get your muscles after one time in the gym. You got to keep putting work at it. And so that's what you got to do. You got to get better little by little every day. Okay. And then also remember, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Okay. So who are you surrounding yourself with? People like people that want to be top first years, top producers too, or people that just don't really care about what they're doing. So remember who you're surrounding yourselves with. Elizabeth or Alex, I don't know who has the access. And then, yes, healthy relationships. Hopefully y'all have been building a pretty cool relationship with your student manager so far this spring. And if you're coming back for another summer, hopefully you've built a lot more relationship with them throughout the year. Man, I have probably one of the closest relationships with my student manager. That's me on the right there with Heather Fisk. And then you can see Alex here on the left with her student manager, Vicky, and her great friend, Ray Flores, who I get to work with. But yeah, you got to be able to, lead by example. Okay. And that doesn't just mean a manager, right? Even if you're a first year, you guys know what you need to be doing. So go ahead and lead by example. And then just trusting everyone, right? So we're always here to understand that we have your best interest in mind. Right, Alex? Do you want to see me succeed?
Oh yeah, you want to see me succeed?
Heck yeah, dude. But I want to beat you too.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
All right. So yeah, so just having trust in the whole system, right? It's 150 years old. And not only trusting the system, there's another part of the system that most of y'all probably know about. And it's this thing called a cool card. Oh, here's my cool card. I'll just use my old business card here. So this is what we call a cool card. It's not actually a real card. And what that means is it's that card that you have, when you were back in high school, when you were like walking around school and you just wanted to be wearing the right outfit or have the best looking haircut. Okay, so that's a cool card. And cool cards don't really fly on the book field. Okay, so what we like to say, and if you want to write this down, this is a cool thing to note. Okay, we take our job seriously, so what we do seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. Did I get it right, Alex?
Yeah, I think you did.
I think I did. And so just don't let yourself be self-conscious on stuff like this. Just we're at the end of the day, we're going out, we're helping families with education. If y'all have seen our Facebook pages, y'all just see that we're some sweaty college students knocking on doors, talking to families, right? We obviously know, exactly from what Ryan said, all of the long-term benefits and how this is helping us. But at the end of the day, we're knocking on doors and we're talking to families about some funny books about flamingos and things like that. So yeah, don't take yourselves too seriously, and just be open-minded. And yeah, Alex, why are you wearing goggles in that photo on the left? That's a random selfie of you.
Great question, Tyler. I'm pretty sure it was actually raining that day, so I needed my goggles.
So you knocked on doors with goggles on your head.
I did indeed.
Interesting. I like that. Okay, well, I think you can keep it going for us now, right?
Yeah, I definitely can. Cool. So one little thing to add on to, you know, losing your cool card, you're really only given this little spark of madness, and you mustn't lose it. Robin Williams, you know, the man, the myth, the legend, what a great guy. So, Elizabeth, if you could go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the biggest thing that you guys need to focus on this summer is burn your boats. This is actually a quote from Hernan Cortez, who actually was a Spanish conquistador who took over land around the era of Christopher Columbus down in South America. And he actually turned to his ship crew and his navy, and he said, as soon as they got to port, they needed to burn their own boats, which means they were going to conquer or die. You guys need to have that kind of mentality. There's no going back. You committed to this come hell or high water. And so the goal is not just to finish the summer, but figure out how to get good and honestly just make the most out of your experience. And using things like self-talk to manage your attitude through all of the highs and the lows during the day to stay emotionally consistent so that you really can remember why you guys are out here, right? The next thing I'm actually gonna cover is really cool. Because it's all about the things that I actually have voted myself the queen of, which is habits. If you don't believe me, ask me or Aaron. We actually have it tattooed on us. Habits. Learning to control the things that you can control. And actually learning how to not waste mental energy on things that you have absolutely no control over. And you guys should get really, really, really excited about eating problems for breakfast. Learn to be solution focused instead of holding on to the problems that are uncontrollable. And trust me, guys, as soon as you start to figure that out, the job gets so much more fun. So I do have a quick little story about eating problems for breakfast. Some of you guys have probably heard this story before, but actually this past summer, we have 1 week that we actually dedicate to this really cool competition called the Bloodbath. It's kind of like March Madness. And I actually came in second my first summer, and that ate me alive to the fact where Matt Ross actually poked a little fun of me for how it felt to come in second. So this year, I actually decided that I was gonna win before the summer even started.
Wait, I think I've heard the story.
Yeah.
Some crazy story of some problem solving stuff.
Yeah, did you hear about that time that my brakes fell out of my car?
Yeah, your brakes just fell out of your Jeep during the day.
Yeah, literally, they just fell off my car, and I was like, "Oh my God, what do I do?"
But
and
you must have just went home, right? You must have just went home.
No, I actually didn't go home. You want to know what I actually kept doing?
What'd you do?
I kept working. So my brakes fell out of my car, and I panicked for like 0.2 seconds, and I was like, you know what? I am not losing this competition no matter what it takes. So I sketchily drove my car down the street with my hand over the e-brake, took it to a previous customer that I'd actually sold to that morning in a neighborhood where I knew I had a lot of evening appointments. They were super nice. They actually let me leave my car in their driveway. And I threw on my backpack and I was like, I'm just gonna be a walker for the rest of the day and I'll deal with my car later. But I realized I was too good for that, so I decided to actually commandeer a golf cart from somebody who I sat down with that didn't even buy books from me and was willing to actually help me out in that situation. So for the rest of the day, I actually ended up, driving around this neighborhood in a golf cart, ended up, finishing out that day pretty strong, and by the end of the week, I actually won the Bloodbath by 2 units, you guys, if you know what units are. So, get excited to eat problems for breakfast because there's absolutely nothing that can slow you down. Uncontrollable things will happen, I promise. You're going to have to figure out how to think on your feet and actually work through them. So, at the end of the day, you guys just need to remember why you guys are out here. Elizabeth, next slide, please. This is actually something that, my track coach in college wrote on every single one of our trainings and every single one of our workout cards is know your why. Because it's really important to not forget the reason why you're here. And it's for that deciding moment. It's not for when things are going great and everything's going perfect. It's actually for those moments where you're forced to grow, the things that make us the most uncomfortable. So remember why you guys actually decided why you wanted to do this program for yourself. And remember that you liked it because it is challenging and it is very competitive. And you guys should get very excited to embrace the unknown, mess it up a ton, and get to work, put the work in to get so much better. And I promise you that it gets better because you get better. If you are intentionally getting better at one thing every single day, there's absolutely no way that you could be the same as the day before. So at the end of this, honestly, you put in the work, you get some really cool medals like this one, which is everybody this past summer who won that Gold Seal Gold Award for working over 75 or 80 hours a week. I remember my why, which, you know, the reason why I do this now is different than my first summer. I do it now for all of you guys, all of the student leaders do. So I put some pictures there, and then you can also see Tyler down at the bottom. But this has honestly been probably one of the coolest things I've been a part of. I know that everybody put in a lot of good work to make this webinar happen. So I'm really glad that we got to be a part of this. Wouldn't you agree, Tyler?
This is honestly some of the coolest stuff ever. Honestly, hands down. This is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So thank you guys for being tuned in and like actually taking a lot of good notes. Now let's go kick some butt, and I'm actually going to turn it back over to Elizabeth.
Woo! Sounds good. Thank you so much, Alex and Tyler. Habits, 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 habits. If you guys are going to take one thing from what they just said, habits. So you guys should start getting into some good habits now and building some momentum into the summer. So thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, we're getting near the end, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Heather Fisk to wrap it all up for us and give us some announcements.
Hello, hello. Yes, thank you guys for letting me wrap this up. Hopefully you guys took away some good points from today, whether that was re-going through the cycle of the sale, getting updated on our new service, getting to know more of our product knowledge, a little bit more of the technical skills. I also hope you guys noticed that you know, Ryan and Kelly touched on a lot of the points that we consistently talk about, right? Kelly talked about self-talk and how she used to be really hard on herself, and she learned to talk herself through that, and she spoke on finding herself through this program. And Ryan talked a lot about his experience, how he established a network and lifelong friendships. It's really, really cool, you guys. They both touched on doing the hard thing, right? A quote that we use a lot is, when you do the hard things in life, life becomes easy. But when you consistently make the easy choice, life starts to become hard. So thank you guys all for being here. We've had over 200 participants all over the US, actually spanning over 4 different time zones, which is really, really cool. Also, Beth Mendoza, just know that everyone is applauding you all over the United States right now for being the perfect MC. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, so we brushed over it. She was a top first year. She was a top rookie. She's now a top leader leading New Mexico State. And she is just honestly the greatest MC we could have had. So round of applause, all of us, for Elizabeth Mendoza. On behalf of all the student leaders, we're all incredibly thankful that you guys chose to be here today and are plugged in, ready to grow. Blessed that you guys chose us to let us lead you. So a couple things that you can expect moving forward. So go ahead and expect by this next week at your campus meeting, we're going to be able to tell you where you're going to be for phase 1. So we're going to be able to tell you that. And then on May 17th or before that, we're actually going to be able to announce what state you will be in for phase 2 as well. So go ahead and look forward to that. Also this next week during your campus meeting, it's going to be a send-off meeting, meaning that we will be giving you guys some updated packing lists, you know, some more details about those, informing you guys about that. Then be prepared for the virtual sales school starting on May 17th. Like I mentioned earlier, be ready to roll for the whole summer by May 17th. I actually got a text message from one of the first years, Dana Wicker, and she said that I could share this. She said, when you said we were leaving on May 17th, I'm not gonna lie, I got that sense of fear. But then I got excited because fear means I care and I'm doing something outside of my comfort zone, and I'm so pumped. So thank you to you guys for, you know, having those emotions and for being honest with your student leaders about those and caring, because we're excited to lead you into this summer. So before May 17th, make sure you got your sales talk down, you go through your online modules, and that you make sure and have some great conversations with your student leader, so we know where you're at. So again, just to reiterate, we will be screening folks before they get to move into their Airbnb. So taking temperatures, again, please be honest if you feel like you've had any symptoms or feeling under the weather, so we can make sure everyone is safe. Southwestern will also be providing some masks for you guys. So we're gonna have some Southwestern masks with our little logo on there where you can wear it around your neck during the day and pull it up when you are approaching and talking to folks, something that we'll be providing for you. Then you will also be gifted one of these shirts. So on the front side, it'll say At Home Educational Resources, and on the back, it'll say Helping Families with Education Since 1868. So when we do move into phase 2, whenever someone's glancing out their front door or their window, they'll be able to know what you're doing just from your shirt, which is cool. So also during virtual sales school, something you guys should be aware of is we're gonna have top of the line training. As you guys know, we have 28 sister companies that are a part of our family of companies. One of them being the Southwestern Consulting Group, which actually coaches different departments of top corporations across America. They actually charge between $400 to $2,000 for their coaching and their training, just one seminar. And you guys will actually be receiving that for free to help you go into that virtual selling period for phase 1. So super thankful to them for training us and working together as a family of companies for everyone to have a great summer. So then we're going to move into this last part here. So you guys have all heard of Sizzler. Your student leader has probably mentioned that. So that is the incentive trip that we offer students. The incentive trip that we offer students when you do average or better. So basically, if you remain true to your word, you do the tough thing, you get out of your comfort zone, and you work hard this summer, the company actually pays for you to go on a week-long trip with all of the other students across the US. So your flight, your hotel, all you can eat and drink is completely covered by the company. One of the best trips, in my opinion. It's awesome. So that you get that for being a top first year. So one of the things you'll see in the video is fun things that we do on Sizzler, like slosh ball, where we actually create teams. Like Ryan had mentioned, we have different divisions across the company. So TD will have their own slosh ball team, which is our version of dodgeball. So you'll see a little bit of that and the fun culture things we have on Sizzler. So we're gonna go ahead and play the video of this last Sizzler. And you guys are welcome to log off. If you do need to go do other stuff, I encourage you to watch the video, and that will conclude our first year production seminar. Thank you guys.